Hey guys, how's everybody doing? Aiden's in New Zealand. I'm in Hilton Head right now. Thanks for coming on a little bit early. Although actually you're right on time now. So I take that back.
All right, guys, we're going to kick this off in just a second here. We're just running some audio and video checks behind the scenes. Now, if you are at our broadcast page, what you'll see is there's an option that you can actually chat with us. We've got a chat system set up there. It's super easy to use. There's a little icon, a little chat icon in the bottom right of your page. At least that's what it looks like on a desktop. It might look a little bit different on a mobile device. And if you click on that, you can actually chat with us anytime you've got a question. So feel free to test that out. You will have to put your name and email in so that you can do that. It takes 1 second, and you will be able to chat with us. And we will start diving in here now. I think, Steve, should we give the intro or let everyone know what we're?
Yeah, I think so. Just wanted to looking to see and make sure everything is good. Yeah, I think we're in good shape. Yep.
All right, guys. So welcome to our Super Sunday. Great to have you with us. Great to have you beaming in from wherever you are around the world. This is something that we've done once a year for the past few years. So it's good to have you here. And we've got just a ton of information that we're going to be getting through. This is going to be a marathon session. Probably going to lose our voices by the end of it, I would say, because we've got 3 hours booked up here. But here's a quick look at the schedule. We're going to be taking you inside Kibo Quantum. And if you don't know what Kibo Quantum is, we're going to be sharing what that is and how you can use the system to build a business that makes you money day after day after day. And we'll be showing you websites and screenshots and stories from people all around the world who've been able to do this. You're going to see mission critical success traits. So I'm going to be talking about that a little bit to get things going here. Live software demos, in-depth ask us anything sessions. And again, for that, you'll have to use the chat feature that we've got on our broadcast page. Cash prizes, lots of cash to give away. We've got an expert interview as well. Huge announcement, a few product reveals, the business grid, top 10 Kibo questions, and much, much more. So again, thank you for tuning in. I hope you can stick around for the entirety of the call because we have got lots and lots and lots of cool things in store and cash prizes. Right up until the very end, we're going to be giving away cash. So make sure you at least stick around to see that, to see if you're one of the winners. This is a rough timeline. Now, it's going to be virtually impossible for us to stick to this, but we're going to do our best here. And you can sort of see how things are breaking out. I'm not going to go through every single piece of that because I've just given you the overview, but we'll come back to this and we'll update you about where we're at different points throughout the call. Okay. So first of all, before we really dive in here, it's just good, I think, opportunity. We've got a little bit more time on this session that you can get to know us a little bit more. So I'll go first and then I'll hand it over to Steve and he can share his life story. But
Oh God.
yeah, that's me and my wife there. I think we were in London in that photo, Steve.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely London.
At one of our events. I'm from New Zealand. Some of you picked that up from the accent. Some of you might already know that. But I spend most of my time these days living in Argentina. So met my wife on a ski trip to California, Lake Tahoe, way back in 2003. And I moved to Argentina in 2005. And that coincided with when I started my online business. And in fact, that was the reason I started my online business, because in Argentina, I had I couldn't speak Spanish. No one gave me a job because I couldn't speak Spanish, but also because I didn't have a work visa. And then I needed a way to make money. I was pretty heavily, down in student debt at the time, mortgage as well. And I needed to make money to be able to stay in Argentina. And online was the way that I looked at doing it. And that was way back in 2005. And it's been a roller coaster, but it's been the best decision. And I can say it's been a real life-changing decision. So, and then, I guess I crossed paths with Steve in around about 2008 or 2007, maybe even. And the way that happened was I actually enrolled in a training program that Steve put out, and I did really, really well from it. And then, that allowed me to sort of reach out to Steve. And then, a couple of years later, we became business partners. So we've been business partners for the best part of 10 years now. We've built, 5 or 6 different multi-million-dollar businesses, and yeah, it's been a roller coaster. Steve, obviously, come from a completely different background there.
Yeah, very, very different. And, I don't ever talk about this, but since we have a little bit more time, I was actually like a childhood entrepreneur, believe it or not. So I think it kind of gets in your blood, early and before you even know it. So, and this is an embarrassing thing, and I've shared this with, I think, our mastermind group or something, but the first entrepreneurial effort I ever had, I was really young. I was like 11, and this is really embarrassing. I set up I would watch like a James Bond movie the night before or something like that. I don't remember actually what the catalyst for this was, but I actually set up a neighborhood casino for, I swear to you, this is completely true. So I set up a neighborhood casino for the children in the neighborhood. So it went great for about 24 hours. I mean, literally, we had like we had blackjack, we had a little roulette thing. People would buy chips. I mean, we had like a cashier's. I mean, I set the whole thing up. And it went great, and we were doing really well until, as you might imagine, the parents found out of all the children in the neighborhood. So that was my first kind of experience with entrepreneurs being frustrated with regulatory issues and things like that. So we were shut down pretty fast. But so that was my first experience, and then I had a more real experience. So keep in mind, because I'm so old, right? I was in high school as computers were first starting to come out. So I was, I think, maybe a sophomore or junior when the Apple II came out, right? So I got put into a class by accident, by a computer mistake, actually, believe it or not, ironically enough, at high school, into this computer class, which I had no interest whatsoever. And I had a real affinity for it. And then I started to do, again, this is crazy, but that's because this was so new. I started to do consulting, working for Computer Land and local businesses to teach them how to use personal computers for their business and also to write software. So I remember this very specifically. My mother was remains a well-educated registered nurse. And I was making more per hour than she was as a 17-year-old kid who just started to learn how to program, So there were a couple other interesting tidbits in there, during college and things as an entrepreneur. So I had that entrepreneur kind of in my blood, but what happens is you kind of get on autopilot, you get into college, and then you sort of are expected, by parents and society and your own self, to kind of go down that corporate path. So I entered the corporate world, and I spent a good 18 years there kind of climbing the ladder. I was a chief information officer for a public company, and I stopped my corporate career as a VP of a Fortune 500 company. And of course, there were wonderful things about that. I was treated very well financially, but I really hated it. Honestly, I hated all the politics. I hated, just climbing that corporate ladder. I hated no freedom from geographic freedom or time freedom. And I was really a frustrated entrepreneur. And I didn't even realize it until I started to say, I'm going to bail on this and do my own thing. And keep in mind, again, this was before, Google, this was before, eBay. And, it was before a lot of things, but I was really watching this whole computer thing because, as you can imagine, with my background and everything, it was a great combination of technology and entrepreneurship. And so it really appealed to me. So I was following it even as my corporate career was ending. And then I finally said, you know what? I'm going to take a risk here. I hate doing this corporate thing. I want to be an entrepreneur. It's what I was good at when I was a child, for crying out loud. I'm going to make it happen. And that's when I quit and went and did that.
Yeah, it's been, wow, yours certainly sounds like a wild ride from childhood casino lord.
Oh, it's crazy. I know.
That's a cool story. So just a few other fun things before we get into all the good stuff here. So a few things that people might not know about us. Well, where do I start here? So, okay. So firstly, I'm married to an Argentinian, and I've been able to get my Argentine residency, and I've lived out there for almost 15 years. But I've also recently, about a year ago, got my Italian passport, and so I've got a couple of passports there, my New Zealand passport, my Argentine residency, and now my Italian passport, and that's because my wife has an Italian passport. So that's the first little trivia piece there. Secondly, got a couple of young kids. That's not so unusual. But then in my spare time, what I really enjoy doing is property investment. Got 5 different luxury properties in Manhattan, hence the Manhattan photo there. And then, a couple of dozen properties all over the world. So we've got properties in New Zealand, a lot of property in New Zealand, good chunk in Argentina and in the United States as well. So property investment, love that. And then, stay sane. I do a lot of swimming. And, that photo that you're seeing there, that was from a 4-hour marathon swim race, which was pretty cool. So keen to get back into that as soon as I can. Steve, what's this all about, this kindred there?
This collage of stuff here? Yeah. I'm kind of a Renaissance guy. I like to get involved in a lot of things. Unfortunately, unlike Aiden tends to get involved in more fiscally responsible things. I tend to get involved in things that, cost me money or involve depreciating assets. But anyway, so a couple things. One is, in addition to being a frustrated entrepreneur, until I wasn't, I was also a bit of a frustrated writer and always very interested in mostly screenplays and movies, big movie guy. And so one of the things that I've been able to do in the last couple of years is co-write a screenplay. And I actually have an IMDb credit, believe it or not. And that's the movie that you see there. It's almost finished. We're talking to distributors right now. And yeah, I'm very, very excited about it. And it's interesting, the director and the partner in the film, I also executive produced the film, was a Blueprint, one of our mastermind members, believe it or not, from many years ago. And so that's where we met. And so you find these things a lot. So the other things, I'm a pilot, and I've had a few airplanes, and I've taken Aiden on some harrowing flights sometimes.
The best one was first flight, about to take off with Steve, and he's like, if anything happens to me mid-flight, pull the red lever. And I was like, that's like a sick joke to be telling someone who's getting in a little plane. And there's like, no, seriously, the plane's got a parachute. So turns out that one of Steve's planes had a parachute. It was actually pretty cool.
Yeah. I think my other favorite time was we were on the way to the Bahamas. Me, you, and this filmmaker, Adrian, actually was with us as well. And we were going there to shoot some videos for our businesses. And we were headed to a small airport that wasn't in the navigation computer's database, which, didn't really become apparent until we were upon the area where it was supposed to be, and it was not there. So we're circling around, and I could tell everybody's getting a little worried. And Aiden was like, well, what are you going to do? You can't just ask somebody. And I'm like, well, actually, and we looked down and there's a plane below us, and he looked like he was, heading down to land somewhere. I'm like, yeah, let's just ask that guy. So we did, and we followed him. It was pretty funny. We've had a couple interesting experiences with that. And then boating, another great depreciating asset. So I've been boats and do things almost my whole life with my dad and stuff too. And probably the pinnacle of that was the boat you see there. It looks like a marketing brochure. Well, it was from the marketing video, but that is actually my boat named Impulse, and she's a 90-footer, and we charter her out with a crew and everything. And so we've been lucky. Aiden spent a lot of time on that boat with us. Yeah, it's been fun. It's been an adventure. So been able to dabble in all these little adventures, which is a phenomenal kind of freedom.
Yeah. So look, I'm sure everyone's getting bored of hearing about our lives and our backstories.
Sure.
So Steve, why don't you tell them now about our e-com story and just how we've come, where we've come to where we are now?
Yeah, it's been quite the journey, and in many ways we've been sort of following just the evolution of e-com, in general, but then adding our own, as we built our own experiences and learned a lot, along the way. I mean, we're talking about, practically 15 years of experience here. And, we started way back doing drop ship model. So we've been doing that on and off for a very, very long time, and selling very, very bizarre things. I mean, the first two big successes we had were a store that sold train horns, which, I'm sure a lot of people don't even know what the heck that is, but it's, these huge air horns that people put on their trucks or cars or boats to make them sound like those, the train. They're incredibly obnoxious things, in other words, but they were really big sellers, and they were, kind of easy to drop ship because they were, big and expensive and self-contained. So you could just, make a good margin when you sold them. So, that was the beginning. That and bird cages. I remember we had a bird cage site, and we built these niche stores that had these different kinds of products that we would drop ship. And then we were able to experiment with different kinds of traffic, with search engine optimization and Amazon, or not Amazon, it wasn't even around. We're talking about like AdWords traffic and things like that. And then you kind of, fast forward to things like, Amazon private label, where we built out a large e-com company with our own brands and our own products. And we actually ended up, and I don't even remember what year that was, probably 5 years ago, maybe something like that. I don't even know. We actually ended up merging that company with the company that was created by two of our students, again, many years ago. So we built a multi-million-dollar e-com company with our own brand and our own products. And these two students built one that became pretty much the same size as ours. And in talking through kind of, okay, well, how can we scale? And each of us, brainstorming, just trying to figure out the right, we started talking about, well, maybe we should be merging these companies together. And we did that. And it's been fantastic because they were great people and great partners. And so to this day now, that is our other e-commerce company where we manufacture our own goods. And we have two very, very powerful entrenched brands, one of which is now showing up in brick and mortar, places like Walgreens and CVS and shopping, grocery stores and all that kind of wonderful stuff, which is great because instead of, selling, 100 units there, 100 units here on Amazon and having to deal with getting all that inventory in and turning it over and cash flow, you're basically selling thousands and thousands at a clip, and you turn over that inventory, very quickly. Like within 90 days, you've manufactured it and you've sold it all. And, obviously at a lower price, but, when with Amazon dipping, their hands into your wallet every 5 minutes, it sometimes isn't that much of a lower price, And then, we've been expanding out then into doing more of a, real-time wholesale model where, buying products from, lots of different products, and doing sort of just in time where we, buy it at a lower price and then sell it at a higher price for, other people's products. And then we really started doing the Kibo code model, which was it's almost like a combination of both things, really. And we're going to talk a lot about that as we go through there, but that brought us to, really like 2019-ish for us, and then, shared it with the world in 2020. Because one of the things that you'll see about us is that, kind of our motto is, if we do it and it works, we teach it. And so all throughout this whole thing, sort of 1 year later, we kind of end up teaching a lot of these things if they work. Not everything works, but we've been lucky that a lot of things have worked. And that kind of brings us up to today, which is, again, a sort of an evolution of all these models and to the Kibo Code Quantum, which we're going to talk quite a bit about today.
Yeah, so look, guys, we've seen pretty much everything under the sun when it comes to e-commerce, and along this journey, we've helped thousands and thousands and thousands of people build their own online businesses related to e-commerce, and it's just an amazing path to go down, because online e-commerce is growing year after year after year. And we'll talk more about some industry stats and things like that and trends a little bit later here. But right now, it's time to give away some cash. So this is going to be a bit of a common theme throughout the call. So here's what I want you to do if you haven't done it already. Okay, so if you're on the broadcast page, which is the one that's got the little chat functionality, then you're going to be able to do this. If you're streaming in from YouTube or something like that, then in YouTube, you'll find in the description, you'll see that there is a link that you can click to come back to the broadcast page. So come to the broadcast page. In the bottom right corner, you'll see a chat box, and we're going to give away $250 cash to 2 people. And the question that I'm going to ask you is, and this is for people that were paying attention, and if you have just joined us, don't worry, you're going to get another opportunity to win some cash. But what was the name of Steve's yacht that he shared a photo of a few slides back here? You can't quite see the name in there, so I can leave that up. But what was the name of Steve's yacht there? And the way that you submit this is go to the chat functionality. And by the way, we want you to use that functionality. Okay, we want you to use that functionality throughout here. Anytime you've got a question, we've got our team in the background who are going to be able to answer your questions. And the first 2 people to put the right name in there, the name of Steve's yacht, he mentioned it a moment ago, will win $250 cash. So I'm just going to look over at the feed from our team here, and
when we have the winner, I have a funny comment on that for a second.
Alrighty, so and if you've just joined us, guys, welcome to the call. We've got a lot to go through here, and we are already ahead of schedule because we had the first cash giveaway happening in 5 minutes time, and we're already doing it. So right after this, we're going to be getting into mindset, the universal recipe for riches. This is something that a lot of people sort of gloss over, but honestly, it's had a huge impact in my life and in my personal development. So we'll share a few secrets there. And I'm just waiting here in the background for someone to go ahead, and we've got a couple of. So we're getting some. Okay, we got the first winner.
Got one.
And if you could give me a last name there as well, because it's probably okay. So we've got an email that we can. Okay, we don't have a last name, but that's fine.
No last name.
We can, so the winner is Brandon of the first one, and we've got your email here, Brandon. So we're going to let you know that you've won. You've won the cash. And Brandon, just so you know, it's you. It's got your name and then your name, Brandon something 98@gmail.com. So Brandon something 98@gmail.com. You've won $250 cash, and just waiting on another one. And
I guess it was a hard question.
This was a hard question because it was only a soundbite.
Well, I have a little. There you got one. Well, I have a little secret that makes it not much of a. It wasn't just a soundbite. I'm wearing a crew shirt from the boat.
There you go.
It says Impulse on it. I don't know if anybody can see it.
I could make it out because I know what what it looks like. But yeah, Impulse was the name of Steve's yacht. So this is what we're going to do, and this is why another reason why we want you to try to pay close attention to what we're sharing here, because these are the kind of questions that we're gonna ask. And if you haven't done so already, we didn't announce the winner. So the second winner was Grace. And the email, just so you know it's you, it's got one word, and then it's got .grace@gmail.com. So congratulations, Brandon and Grace. Our team will be in touch with you. We'll get your PayPal details, and we'll send you over $250 cash. Thanks for being here with us. And to everyone else who's just tuned in, we are just starting to get into the meat of this. We're going to get into some good content for you now. Don't go anywhere. We've got a ton to get through over the next few hours. Okay, so I want to change gears up a little bit here. We've spent some time talking about our personal lives and our story and how we've got here, but there's something else that has sort of run, at least for me, in parallel with all of this, and it's personal development related to mindset. And what we're talking about here is what I call the recipe for riches. And it's not just about money, it's just about success, actually, in general, much more so than money. So anytime I use the word millionaire or talk in terms of money, use that as a sort of a marker for success. It's not specifically to do with money, but it's 100% mindset. I feel like if you've got the right mindset, then almost anything within physical limitations, almost anything is possible. So, and what are my credentials? I'm not like a self-help guru, that's for sure. I'm not a best-selling author, but I am friends with at least 50 self-made millionaires, and I've personally built, an empire of 6 different businesses that earn us multi-millions of dollars every year. So I've seen firsthand a lot of the things that I think help sort of move the needle and help get success in myself and also in other people. And I'm a perpetual student of the game here. I'm always learning what I can from others. So I think the biggest takeaway first, though, is that anyone can become a millionaire, or anyone can become super successful. It's not some dark art. It's not some cryptic code. There are a known set of ingredients, and that's just a fact, and you'll see it because there are common traits that come up over and over again. Success leaves clues. Most self-made millionaires have those same set of attributes, and they are the clues to mega success. So anytime, if someone has achieved something that you want to achieve, if you can look closely and sort of analyze, well, what have they done, then you might be onto something. And that's what I'm trying to give you here, is a set of common characteristics or ingredients that you can work in to your life. And I'm not saying you should necessarily, really focus down on, propping up your weaknesses, but understand where you're weak, understand where you're strong, and constantly try to develop yourself here. So ingredient number 1 is understanding the math of money. If you want to make a lot of money, then you need to understand this formula. And the formula is basically leads, or that could be traffic, let's say, multiplied by a conversion rate, how many people that come to your store or your shop or whatever and buy something, multiplied by the amount of money that they spend, and then how many recurring transactions they have. So they are the 4 variables, and they're true for offline business, for online business, for any kind of a business, really. So let me give you an example using a simple lemonade stand. Let's say you set up a lemonade stand on the corner and you get 1,000 people walk past it each day. That's your visitors. They are your leads, let's say. And then let's say you've got a conversion rate of 5%. So 5 out of every 100 people that come past actually buy a little glass of lemonade from you, and they're paying $1. And the average number of transactions is 1, because they're just buying one time 1. Now, maybe they're going to come back every other day. I don't know, but let's just say it's 1. Then you can see that your income there is going to be $50. And you can see the calculation there. 1,000 visitors multiplied by 5% times $1 is $50. And the time frame here is not important, because you could say, well, that's 1,000 visitors over the course of a year, or 1,000 visitors over the course of one day. It's the same formula. So depending on what time period you're talking about is how much money you'll make in that time period. And with online business, it's the same formula. Now, something quite interesting that a lot of people don't realize is if you double 2 of those factors, you actually quadruple the income. So if all of a sudden, instead of getting 5% of people buy a glass of lemonade, then if you were 10% of people, and if instead of charging $1, you were charging $2, then your income goes from $50 up to $200. You've quadrupled it. And if you can double all 4 of the factors, then you've multiplied your initial income by a factor of 16. And this is where it gets really interesting, because most people don't really understand that these multipliers sort of pan out like this, but they do, and it can be amazingly powerful. And this is something that we use in our e-commerce stores. And in fact, we've got some special software. We'll give you a demo of it a little bit later. But what the software does is it works at leveling up these numbers that we're seeing here to give you the absolute most that you can make from your business, essentially. So again, when applied to the Kibo code, you might have something like 200 people come into a website, your store each day. You might get a 2% conversion rate, and this would be low. Typically, we see much higher than that. Maybe you're making $40 profit per customer, and you might get 1.4 transactions. So that would give you $224 per day, which is just a smidgen under $100,000 per year profit run rate. And if I was running this business, I'd be starting to think, okay, what can I do to boost my traffic? What can I do to increase my conversion rate? What can I do to earn more dollars per sale? What can I do to increase the number of transactions? Is this making sense, guys? If it is, please use that chat box and let us know. Say, let us know that we're going at a good speed and this is making sense, and we'll keep pushing on here. So that's the first ingredient. The next is to stretch your mind. So stretching your mind establishes a new benchmark. It's why millionaires who lose it all can bounce back quickly, because they like living in that success life, if you like, is something that you get used to and something that you expect. And when you expect it of yourself, then you're going to be able to do it again. And I think it's why, the first dollar online is the hardest dollar to make. The first 1,000 is the hardest 1,000 to make. Once you've made $1,000 online, you can absolutely do it over and over and over and over again. Once you've earned $100,000 online, you can do that over and over again. You know what the process is and you do it. So the first million is the hardest, and it's establishing a new benchmark for your mind. There's a good book that you can dive into. There are a lot of books on this. This is one of my favorites, though. It's called Think Bigger. It's by a New Zealand entrepreneur who set up an enormous chain of jewelry stores around the world. And anyway, this is something that I've used a lot. And just a good example of thinking a bit bigger. When I got my first property back in 2006, it was this tiny little place in Buenos Aires. It was, it's like we're talking 350 square feet, 30 square meters. And it was a dump. I mean, you might just be able to make me out there standing on a pile of rubble. We stripped it back to the bare bones and built it up again nice. And, I lived in that for a couple of years. But even when I was just getting started with that one, I had much bigger goals. I wanted to have 20 properties that I would own outright by 2020. I got there about 5 years prior to that. So 2015, I had quite a decent portfolio already, and making a lot of passive income from real estate. But if I hadn't had that goal of thinking, I want to own 20 properties outright by 2020, I never would have been able to go down a path to actually get it. I would have just sort of cruised along. So it's when you sometimes think outside your comfort zone a little bit and push yourself and think, what's possible here? What's actually possible here? What could I do? So anyway, that's just something to think about in a quick personal story. Another one is going outside your comfort zone. This is something we hit on all the time. And I think this is just super, super important. If you want something in your life that you've never had, then you need to be willing to do something that you haven't done. The third ingredient is be growth orientated. Every single super successful person that I know, certainly every single self-made millionaire, has got this dialed in to their subconscious. And being growth orientated, there are really three parts to it. The first is getting uncomfortable, which I just shared with you. The second is constant learning and self-improvement. You can always get better. And then maintaining confidence and optimism. This is really important, especially when the chips are down, and it'll happen. Any entrepreneurial journey is going to be fraught with, ups and downs. You're going to have challenges along the way. It's part of the process. So being able to stay confident, being able to keep your eyes on the prize is really important. Getting help, ingredient number 4. Everyone needs 2 types of help. Doesn't matter who you are. You're going to need some expertise help at some point, and you're going to need some time help, because otherwise you're going to be limited to 24 hours a day. So this is why really successful business owners focus on building teams and delegating to the point where they're able to get hundreds or even thousands of hours work done in one day. Like right now in our business, we get about 480 hours of work done every day, regardless of whether Steve or I get out of bed in the morning. And that's because we've got 60 people around the world in different time zones, working with us to help, run and build our businesses. So you can get to that in small little chunks. So I still remember when I was starting my business, the very first thing that I outsourced was some writing. I needed some content for a website, and I started outsourcing that. And I might have been paying $20 a week, let's say, to a writer. But it was saving me probably 10 hours of my own time. It was just such a no-brainer. And that was really when my business started exploding, when I started getting this help myself. So absolutely something that you should consider. Success Circle, you become the 5 people that you spend most time with. I really believe this to be the case. So choose carefully who you're going to hang out with. You want to hang out with people that are going to support you and be positive and not bring you down. Be the millionaire. Now, this one might sound a little bit funny, but when you begin to think like a millionaire, you'll begin to behave like a millionaire. And when you behave like a millionaire, you will begin to do the things that a millionaire does. And that's when you'll start to get those kind of results. Now, again, millionaire is interchangeable with super successful person, essentially. And it's like the old saying of dress for the job you want, not the one you have. It's about being and acting and behaving and doing the things before you necessarily have got them. And if you don't know how you can do this, just think of someone that you look up to. Maybe it's a business person that you look up to, and you could ask yourself, what would that person do in this situation? And that's something I've used quite a bit over the years. Be solution orientated. People that are really successful with businesses, they know that when you provide solutions to people, that's where you can see more success. So, common obstacles faced by the masses can be gold mines and massive opportunities. And really what we're doing with our e-commerce stores is we are providing solutions. So someone needs to find something, and we can put it in, within their, in a place that they can find it, then we're off to a good start. We're providing a value added, solution to something they're looking for. The next one is to protect your time. So super valuable. Time is not a renewable resource. So you've got to be careful how you spend your time. Most people have this tendency to sort of, waste a lot of time. But you need to protect it. You can't get any time back. It's not like money. Money goes up and down. Time is just always ticking down. So you need to protect that. Action orientated. Action is what gets results. Waiting doesn't get results. A lot of people overplan as well. Overplanning kind of makes you feel like you're being busy and you're doing something that's going to help your business. But at the end of the day, you get action. You get results when the rubber hits the road. You get action when you actually do things. And of course, there are lots of ways you can streamline that action, and we'll be talking about that a little bit later here. But action, really important. And don't wait for your situation to be perfect, before you take action. There's never a perfect time really for doing almost anything. You can always, could always be a slightly better time to, start your new fitness regime or start that business you've always thought about. You could always find a better time to do those things, but there's no time like the present, and it's taking action in the now that gets results. Thinking in terms of abundance, people are sort of hardwired into the scarcity mindset. And it's something that's actually passed down, I think, as well from generation to generation. I know that this is something that I've worked a lot on, but there is plenty for everyone. Frugal thinking can't get you ahead. Frugal thinking is a handbrake. You cannot, you can't build a business by pinching pennies and saving every last penny. There's a limit to that. You can't scale that. That's not scalable. If you want to have more money, the way to do that is not saving. It's investing and building a machine that makes you money, building a business that makes you money. That's how you get more money, and there is plenty to go around for everyone. I mean, especially in the world of e-commerce, there are so many opportunities there, and this is why we keep talking about that. And then vision, knowing what you want and being able to imagine it and go after it. Sending off good vibes. This one might sound a little bit airy-fairy, but I promise there's something underneath it all. So when you've got a positive mindset, and when you think regularly about what you want, you start to see more opportunities present themselves than someone with a negative mindset would. It's like, if you roll out of bed in a foul mood one day, then chances are the whole day is going to have that feeling to it. And on the other hand, if you roll out of bed and things going well and you're thinking about your goals and your ambitions and what you need to do to get them, then you're more likely to find and see different opportunities present themselves. It's just the way it works. Ingredient number 3 is enjoy the journey, because there will be some ups and downs, and it's not going to be an overnight, for the most part, it's never an overnight success. So, you're going to have to grind away a little bit, but that's absolutely fine. Now, some people are just super successful and they are just gifted lunatics, essentially. They break all the rules and they prosper anyway. So these ingredients that I'm sharing with you, they're not like hard and fast, set in stone rules. They're just ideas, really. There are some people that break the rules and they do incredibly well anyway. And these are the people that you can't copy because they've got that something extra. So look, guys, we're going to get into really talking about Kibo code Quantum right now. A couple of things for those of you that have just joined us. There's a chat feature in the bottom right of the page. We'd like you to use that. And anytime you've got any questions, and particularly about Kibo Quantum here, we've got some more cash that we're giving away. If you're watching on YouTube, you'll see a link in the description that will take you to our broadcast page where you can actually interact with us and we can see what's going on there. So do that. And then if you've got enough information and want to invest in what we're doing here, then you'll also see a button below the video, and you can do that at any time. You don't have to wait until the end of the call. We will get into the nuts and bolts of specifically what this is all about here shortly. So, Steve, did you want to take the screen over here and share your you can share your PDF there?
Yeah, just give me 1 second and I'll
Yep. And guys, give us some feedback in the question box. Are things going well so far? We're trying to do a lot of different things and touch on a lot of different points in this. This is our Super Sunday broadcast, and that's why we are really spending more time speaking about things that we haven't had a chance to talk about in other areas, like, for example, the recipe to riches. That's something I think is really, really important, getting your mindset dialed in. And you can see the schedule here. We've already given away $500 in cash. We've got another $1,000 to give away and maybe more. And the way this will work is we'll ask you questions about things we've spoken about throughout, and we'll give you some cash to the people that get those things right. So if you're just tuning in, you managed to do that, Steve?
Yeah.
No, I was saying if you've just tuned in, this is the schedule for today. So did you want to take that screen away from me?
Yeah, I'm trying. I've got the host disabled participant screen sharing issue, so I'm trying to.
Okay, so
resolve that quickly. Let's see.
Yeah, I can see you're not set up as a host. Let me see if I can change that. We might need our tech guy to come in and change that. If you're listening there, Mark, could you please make Steve okay, so now it looks like Steve is the actual host.
There.
Maybe what we can do is we can make
work.
sure on the panelists, because it looks like we're capped out at the number of hosts we can have.
Okay.
But anyway, as long as you can share the screen, then we'll be good. So
let's see if it works.
And Steve, now that our tech guy, Mark, is, and that did seem to work on my end, now that our tech guy, Mark, is not a host, he might not have the functionality that he had before. I'm not sure, just FYI.
Lovely technology.
I'll keep an eye on things here, but I can see your screen. Looks like it's coming up here, so I think we're good to continue.
All right, let's take a closer look here at all these different things, part of Kibo Code Quantum. Look, this is a really different and revolutionary business model that we have, and there's some pretty big reasons that are driving that. So let's go through them. Simplicity. The path to all of this, right, is a very, very straightforward, simple business model. And believe me, the most easy path to success is when you have a very straightforward, business model that doesn't require a lot of mental gymnastics to try to figure out or explain to others or get other people to, interact with you about it. So it's all about selling physical products online. Okay. But, getting rid of any of those usual suspects of hurdles that people will have run into potentially, like having to buy all the inventory up front, having to pay for traffic, relying on the Amazon marketplace. And there's lots and lots of others dealing with, suppliers and finding products and all sorts of things. We're going to talk about those. And so when you get rid of all of those pain points, all of those potential hurdles, you end up with a simpler business model, but one that has, a lot less risk, and I would argue zero risk, and one that you can really make great progress very quickly on, and one that doesn't require, a lot of startup capital and things like that. So, you're talking about not needing to develop any product of your own. So having to deal with, samples and China and manufacturing issues and branding and packaging, not dealing with Amazon, to have to get your product to show up and sell and turn over your inventory and hope they don't, give you fees where you can't possibly make a profit, which is becoming more and more a reality. No expensive software. So, not having to go out and buy all this other extra stuff just in order to, make the business model work. money for traffic and advertising, dealing with all that, the roadblocks that come in the form of kind of admin stuff, setting up companies and permissions and licenses and reseller certificates. And, I talked about when you're manufacturing your own product, you're typically using overseas manufacturers. It's just, everybody does it, even, Apple, all your Apple goods are manufactured overseas. And, there's their own special brand of issues, with languages and time zones and cultural differences. We even went to the extreme of we have our own office in China, just to kind of get rid of some of those issues and problems. And then capital, buying inventory up front. Again, I talked about that, but it's a huge big deal when you're doing certain types of e-commerce, because it requires a lot of money up front, which not a lot of people have. But then it also impacts your cash flow, because you have to put all this money up front. Then you got to get the goods manufactured. You got to get them shipped over on a boat, get them into Amazon, get them sold. You're talking months and months and months before you can turn over that inventory. And the only way you actually recognize cash profits is by turning over the inventory. So it takes a while. And then obviously, needing to be in the United States is definitely a roadblock to many folks trying to take advantage of the bit of the easier path of marketing to the US while being outside the US. And another difference is, usually when you're, especially like a model like Amazon FBA, where you're developing your own product, you usually start out with a niche or a market, saying, hey, I'm going to be in the dog product niche. And I'm going to be in that niche because I've researched it. There's a lot of demand and it's great stuff. And you've spent time figuring that out. But then you got to spend time trying to find the products and making sure that there are some viable products and research those. And then if there isn't, go back and pick a different niche. And, you're kind of on this treadmill. And then the other thing is that if you go down the path of saying, I'm going to build out a dog product niche website, and you do all the work around it, the website itself, the branding, the sales collateral, the packaging, all that sort of stuff, you're kind of stuck, and if you want to come back and you've got a great cat toy that you think will sell, it's kind of hard to sell that on the dog product site. So you tend to do double work with research, and you tend to be sort of locked in. There's this point of no return. So, it's really, really important that, for us to try and streamline all that, make things fast, no risk, no money, all that kind of stuff, things we're going to talk about over and over again. And so, one of these differences is that we don't do any market or niche research. We just don't do it. We just worry about products. That's it. And we don't care what we sell. We don't care what kind of product it is. We don't care what niche it's in. And we focus on building these mega stores. And the only thing that matters is that it's profitable. And, we set up these online stores, we test products and don't care what niches. We use a free source of traffic, so we get rid of the risk and time and money problems. And then we get rid of the ones that don't sell, and we keep the ones that do. And then we scale from there. And the free traffic is, part of this is really key. Because, if you're having to pay for traffic, then, how many products can you test? Well, you're limited by your budget and how much you want to risk. And when you're not paying for the traffic and you're not paying for the products up front, because we're using a dropship model throughout all of this. So we only pay for inventory when somebody places an order with us and pays us. That's the only time we pay for anything. Because we're not paying for products and we're not paying for traffic, we can test as many things as we want. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't matter. We haven't spent a penny. It's a huge, big deal. And so, our goal is we just end up with an online store that's full of products. And it really, most of the time, is just a handful of products. It's not, it's a small number that all convert to sales and profits. And we can test fast without spending anything. And you're going to hear a lot about the enhancements that we've made and the big changes we've made over the last year to really just get this where it takes only a few minutes to get set up. And we'll show you all that. And it's important to note, that this is a dropship model. So we never even have to see or touch the products that we sell. And, this model really, really works, to the tune of, 43,000 in 1 week, 128,000 in 30 days, almost 8,000 in 24 hours. You'll see a lot of these. So here's reason number 2, the blueprint. It's really just a step-by-step, system of very straightforward steps that you go through. So first you'll install your store, and it's less really install and just basically clicking a button and it's built for you, because we use and you'll hear a lot more about Launchpad, but we use our breakthrough Launchpad technology to do it for you, really, and build out everything from one click of a button, all the themes, the apps, the various things that need to work together, email collection, and payment processing, domains, hosting, logos, order fulfillment. Everything is all taken care of basically with one click. And we'll talk much more about how we find products and everything, but we've got an easy path to getting different products to add to the store and getting ready to sell them. And then we'll talk more about traffic for sure. But we will then turn traffic on, and starting with instant hyper-targeted free traffic, because, well, it's free and it works. And so we can get results quickly. We've got zero risk and we don't have to spend any money. And that's a pretty good combination of things. And then from there, we'll expand to other traffic sources, ones that we like, ones that work well. Most of those are paid, and that's certainly optional. It just depends on, Aiden was talking about all sorts of different mindsets about scaling and abundance, and it's all up to you. And then once we've got this foundation, of products that sell, we deploy these cutting edge technology and tactics that are all built into our Launchpad that are just basically like multipliers, and I'll give you an example. Like, so if you're selling, 3 products a day from this, this one set of products, and then you add on these conversion tactics or tools or apps, like, for example, hey, you like this, you might like that, or one-click upsell when they go to check out, or a wheel to gamify a possible discount. All of those things might combine to, say, take 3 conversions a day to 6 conversions a day, sales a day, with absolutely zero additional effort or cost or traffic or products or anything like that. So that's the power of those. And then from there, it's just rinse and repeat. You can add more products, you can add traffic sources, you can build out more stores. And, our whole reason for existence here is to get you making results or getting results really, really fast. We know if I can get you to life-changing, stable, real business profit, let's call that milestone 1, whether that's $1,000 a week or 2,000 or what, I don't know what it is for you, but this is a good number, I think, for most people. If I can get you to, that without any risk, really, really fast, and without spending any extra money, I got you, and I know that you're signing up, to employ conversion tactics, to employ other traffic sources, other ways of scaling, and get you to milestone 2 and milestone 3. So traffic, big deal. This is maybe the biggest deal. So last year we made a pretty massive breakthrough. And it's changed everything, really. And it's changed everything because although in the past, prior to this traffic source, the model works really, really well, and you're going to see that. We were using paid traffic, and it's a great source of paid traffic. There's nothing wrong with it whatsoever. It's not like, oh, that was bad now, or it was good and then it turned bad, or nope. It's wonderful. We use it every single day, and that's the Google shopping platforms and the Microsoft shopping platforms. And these are here to stay, and they're wonderful. But the problem is, no matter how good they are, they're still paid. Still a paid traffic source. And that gets in the way of risk, time, and no extra money. So for people who are on a tight budget, which is everyone, right? There's no margin for error. You get one bad decision or one mistake and boom, that's it. You're churning through your entire budget. And now what do? You can't make progress. You can't move forward. That's the worst possible feeling. And then sometimes people start to, cut back on other things that they really need to spend to invest in their business. And it turns into it's a domino effect of bad. And then there's the other thing that we all see as trainers. It's very interesting. And that is that no matter how good paid traffic is, and no matter how, even if you've got a good budget, people sometimes just can't get their arms around the whole return on investment equation and analysis. I can't tell you the number of times where I've spoken to people who are spending, let's say, $20 a day on paid ads, and they're making $40 in profit a day by spending that 20. And I talk to them and I'm like, well, this is great. I said, but why are you still spending $20 a day? You should be spending much more. Oh, no. I couldn't spend more than that. I'm like, wait a minute. For every $20 you give Google, they're giving you $40 back. You want to give them a gazillion dollars, because then you'll get 2 gazillion back, right? I don't understand. But people just don't think that way. And they get caught up in the perceived risk of it. And they just can't get their arms around it. There's a psychological block. And if this is you, a couple things. One, you're in good company, because there's probably more of you than there are of me out there. At least that's been my experience. And the second is that, don't worry. It's nothing to do with like intelligence or, your inability to be an analyst or your inability to be an entrepreneur. It's just how you're wired. And there's nothing wrong with it, because sometimes it is good to be a little less risk averse, that sort of thing. But it's still a problem, and it got in people's way, from making success. So while paid traffic can be fantastic, if you've got a great source of wonderful, reliable, targeted traffic that actually works, then you should definitely use that, especially when starting out. The problem is we haven't had it before, one that works. So what is this wonderful source of traffic? It's Facebook. It's Facebook related anyway. It comes from Facebook. But it's not the regular stuff that you're used to. It's certainly not paid advertising. I told you it was free traffic. So it's not the Facebook paid ads, and it's not, posting on Facebook groups or, trying to come up with a viral picture or video or anything to do with that. We're taking an entirely new approach, and we're using the Facebook Marketplace. And the Facebook Marketplace is enormous, okay? And it is an amazing opportunity to get just, incredible amounts of sales. And it's so easy to use. You just open it up, you list your product, and in a matter of minutes, you can be getting sales. The reason that people aren't using it like we are is that it's largely misunderstood. Most people think it's just like, a Craigslist where they sell garage sale stuff or secondhand stuff or whatever. And certainly people use it for that. But the smart people, okay, like all of us who are here today, are using it as just another marketplace to sell new inbox retail goods. And we will show you that it is absolutely a wonderful platform for that. You can sell new products, and you can get lightning fast traffic, almost instant sales. And let me give you something to think about, okay? If you're skeptical of Facebook Marketplace being used for that. eBay. Let's talk about eBay. When it first was developed, right? People thought of it the same way. Secondhand stuff, garbage stuff, bartering, that sort of thing, very cheap. And in fact, the first product that was ever sold on eBay was like a broken down old laser printer, but now, right this minute, if you go to eBay, it is a retail portal for the most part. More than 80% of all goods sold on eBay today are new retail goods. It's just another marketplace. And that you will find history repeats itself all the time. Every marketplace becomes that. And that's what Facebook Marketplace is becoming. But the difference now is, if you think about those people that started on eBay years ago and who've now are entrenched in eBay, okay, and have built a huge multi-million-dollar retail e-commerce business on eBay. There are thousands and thousands and thousands of people who that describes. And you've got an opportunity to get in on the ground floor in the Facebook Marketplace and use it for that before everybody gets, sort of hip to, oh yeah, that's the marketplace. The other thing to understand about within context of this marketplace is that these marketplaces aren't going away. Every tech company out there, Facebook, Google, Pinterest, Instagram, Twitter, Walmart, Target, they think of themselves as tech companies now. They don't want to be just e-com companies. They want to be tech companies. They all want a marketplace to sell third-party goods. They don't actually care whether it's used goods or retail goods. Actually, they prefer it's retail goods. And the reason is because they see what Amazon has been able to accomplish in taking over the whole universe. They want a piece of that pie. They want a piece of that e-com pie, as we all do, right? So, and they already have all this traffic, like Facebook, billions of people. And so they want to figure out a way to keep people on the site, get more and more traffic, get people to engage more. And a marketplace is yet another way to do that. So these things aren't going anywhere. There already are multiple marketplaces like this. You can go to Walmart and buy a $30,000 Rolex. You can. I don't know if anybody does, but you can from third-party sellers. And so Facebook Marketplace is this simple free traffic system where you list your products, you can target the whole country, and it doesn't matter where you are. I don't care if you don't live in the US, you can still target the US. It's another misconception that people have about the marketplace. And you can make really, really fast sales. And here's the proof, okay? Here's a case study. And this is something that I really want everybody to pay very, very close attention to. This is what we were selling. It's a laser engraving machine. And we did a case study where we spent 1 week, and the only traffic we tried to sell this brand new etching machine, and which, by the way, is about the furthest away from grandma's, garage sale used goods, right? And the only traffic we used, right, was the free traffic, was the Facebook Marketplace. And in 7 days, we sold 119. We netted out $18,655. And because we bought these for $79, and remember, dropship, we bought it for $79, but only when somebody bought it from us first, okay? And that included the shipping to the customer from a US supplier, okay? We made over $8,000 in profit in 1 week. Pretty amazing. All free traffic, zero risk, fast, and no money spent. And the proof of the no money spent, what if this hadn't worked? Oh no, what would have happened? How much would we have lost? Zero, right? Because we didn't buy any products. We didn't have to until somebody bought it from us. And we didn't pay for any traffic. Pretty freaking amazing. All right, reason number 4 is the Launchpad. Now, Launchpad, you can think of as the e-commerce, just control center for your empire. It's cutting edge technology that has the benefit of being user friendly. And it is designed to be the place where you can launch your e-commerce empire and control every single aspect of it, mostly through automation and interfaces with things like suppliers, which we'll talk about. But we're talking about thousands of dollars worth of ninja apps and themes and interfaces and product selection tools and everything, analysis tools, all built in. Everything that we know that you need to be successful is right there. Building that was an enormous task, and supporting it is, and all that sort of stuff. Why the hell would we do that? We made a decision, in corporate, we call it treasure. We spent company treasure. Treasure being time, focus, and of course, money. We spent an incredible amount of our company's treasure on building out this platform. Why would we do that? The biggest reason is that when you look at something like Shopify as an example, because it's the most popular, Shopify is incredibly mature and capable software for a shopping cart. But if you use the analogy of like, what do you need to build a house? Shopify is a very capable, beautiful, mature, and wonderful hammer. And that's great. You need that. But you need a shit ton of other things too. And they all need to work together. You need nails, you need drills, you need, saws, you need, I don't know. I'm not a carpenter. I don't know what the hell else you need, but you need a lot of crap, right? And the problem is you get the hammer and that's it. And that's all you get with Shopify. So it's great, but it's not, you can't build the house because you need all this other stuff. You need all these, that's why you add on all these themes and apps and hope that they all work together. Almost everybody I talked to who built a big, e-commerce company with Shopify said, you know what, at the end of the day, it all seems so simple. But once I was faced with, thousands of apps that I had to pick from and then integrate, I had to hire someone to do it all for me and build it. I might as well build it from scratch. So you get all these apps and stuff that cost money, and then you have to cobble them together with all these different technologies and hope that it's cumbersome, it's clunky. And you hope that it all works. And then you've got all these issues for product integration and then automation and how do you collect, sales tax and track this and, do fulfillment. You need a lot more than the hammer. And when you start to get all the tools, independent of all the problems that are associated with that, the integration and the, all of the other stuff is a problem. But then even if you overcome that, the cost is enormous. Over $1,000 a month for the apps that you really need. So Shopify, the hammer might be $39 a month, maybe $79 a month, depending on. But once you get all the tools that you need to build your house, you're over $1,000 per month, and that's absolutely true. And so with Launchpad, we wanted to get rid of all of those problems. And so everything is done for you and it's all in one spot and it all already works together out of the box. Everything that you need. So you get rid of the technology issues, cobbling everything together. You get rid of, will it work together? You get rid of the complexity of building it yourself and trying to put everything together. And then the cost, obviously, and so you get that exact same setups that we use, to be successful. And it allows you to, set up your store and be online and ready to go in like 5 minutes and no experience necessary. And everything's solved, themes, apps, domains, logo, hosting, product selection, order fulfillment, interface with suppliers, communicating with your customers, email market, everything is included. And the best way to say it is like effortless e-commerce, and everything is just, right at your fingertips, right there. So reason number 5 is the products. And, this can also, products and suppliers, big area of concern. And, we had a solution last year. We had our Profit Vault, a database of really good suppliers and products. But we do, and especially due to the supply chain issues with COVID that, we had in the first few months of the year, I guess right after, starting in March, which are, pretty much gone at this point. But it still, exposed some weaknesses that we had to really patch up. And we really had to completely rethink and rebuild our Profit Vault. And we knew we wanted more suppliers, first of all. So we created this team of product czars, and they have spent thousands of hours finding new suppliers that meet our Kibo criteria. And we've got hundreds of those that have millions of new products. All of them have to be in the US too. But that's not enough to just have a lot of suppliers. The thing that's missing that we really need in order to be very nimble, to be able to absorb things like supply chain issues and stuff, because we had this issue. It was a great problem to have, right? Well, good problem. It's under those good problems to have category where you've got students following the Kibo model that were selling a lot of products, but then you have COVID that hits and all of a sudden products are out of stock and harder to find. A lot better problem than nobody selling stuff, that's for sure, but still an issue. So we never want to be in that position again where you can't have this, real-time look, this transparency into suppliers to find out what stock levels are there, what can you count on. So we said, you know what, it's not enough. Every single supplier that makes it into our profit vault must have a very sophisticated, real-time, two-way interface. Integration that allows us to see their stock levels in real time, all sorts of sales data and metrics where we can, slice and dice the product options, suck in any of the products into any of our stores, and have automatic, trackable, transparent fulfillment. So the whole life cycle, the whole supply chain is all built in and transparent so that you can see it. And then the other thing, though, that we needed is it's great to have suppliers, it's great to have products, but if you then turn people loose and say, okay, yeah, go sell that. And then they have to go to the supplier, and then the supplier goes, well, first you have to fill out an application. And then, oh, by the way, you need to fax it to me. Fax it to me? For crying, are you serious? Like, who the hell even has a fax machine anymore, right? And go through this process and maybe pay me money. And, oh, do you have a reseller certificate? We're like, nope, that's gone. We got to get rid of all of that. So every single supplier that interfaces with us and is on our profit vault system, there is none of that. All the suppliers understand what we're doing. They understand what we're teaching. They understand what our students are doing. And we've set it up so that you don't have let me put it this way. If you're a Launchpad user, you can immediately sell products and fulfill products and interface with any supplier that's there immediately without doing getting through any other hurdle, okay? And then finally, from a product perspective, because again, remember, we want fast results, really fast results. We want no risk. We want no additional money being spent. We thought we need to do one more thing, and that is, all right, look, we're going to use free traffic to get sales fast and to make sure that everybody is, going to be successful. So we need to find 10 hand-picked products that are exclusive and for every single Launchpad user. And the way that we handpick those products is because we've had at least a year of experience selling on the Facebook Marketplace. We've done a lot of testing. We know what sells better than other products. There are definitely categories and types of products that sell better currently on the marketplace than others. And so we will make you the beneficiary of that knowledge by, again, picking 10 hand-picked products that are exclusive to every Launchpad user, okay? And you'll use those as a first sprint to getting quick results, okay? Reason number 6, the results. We asked, this is one of the first times we've ever, when we had like a forum where we asked people, hey, just drop us a line when you're having some good success, and post it for everybody to talk about and see. And we were blown away. The Kibo members that took action, obviously, and followed the steps, they had incredible results. And you're going to see lots and lots of them, but just pages after pages and pages of them in our forum. And here's some highlights. And I'm not going to read what these guys say, but I think it's, some of these are really valuable pieces of information that they have to share about, what does it take to succeed and take on the responsibility of taking action, that kind of thing. But here's Matt, $455,000 in 4 months. Junaid, who's talked to us quite a bit, and he did 146,000 in just 90 days. Penny and Craig, it's a great story. And they did 150,000 in 30 days. Marco, almost 21,000 in 37 days. Justin, just getting started out of the gate, over $1,000 in 24 hours. This was an email from Tom that both Aiden and I woke up to one day, and boy, this is what gets us up in the morning. I mean, in many ways, we enjoy the teaching part of all the things that we do, probably more than anything else, honestly. And to get an email like this, I think you might be able to imagine how it feels. It's pretty special. 31,000 in sales in one day from Tom, 7,400 in 9 hours from Andrew, Julian, 4,000 while asleep, this always cracks me up. This guy worked for me years ago. I don't know, more than 20 years ago, 25 years ago, something in corporate. And he found me on Facebook. Nice guy. Found me on Facebook and he's like, "Hey, I see you're doing this course. Is this like a good thing to get into?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Okay, I'm in. I'm doing it." And he's like, "Yeah, 6,000 in sales in a couple of days." Now, obviously, we can't guarantee results. We've talked about this. You have to take action. We don't know what time you're able to set aside or if you're going to take action and stuff. So we can't guarantee anything. But clearly, these are not some one-offs. And here's reason number 7: the potential. And all the students all the screenshots and all that kind of stuff you've seen, they've been from people who have been super successful without any of those sort of shortcuts and advancements that we have now, like free traffic, which is like the biggest thing. The Launchpad, that didn't exist before either. We were using Shopify. We were using paid traffic, right? The new product, Profit Vault, with all of that. And then the other thing is, keep in mind, this happened during COVID. All of this successes, right, were all built on during COVID. Now, COVID had a positive impact in a lot of e-com areas as far as volume, but there were supply chain issues, as we talked about, and yet those were overcome. So imagine what you could do now, for crying out loud, and blow you away. So, you might be sort of wondering, okay, well, that's great. I see all these successes and things. But could I really do this? And I imagine a lot of you are saying, but I couldn't really do this. And, Aiden was talking about mindset. I'm going to get my chance to talk a little bit about mindset because it's so important. But the answer is yes, you can totally do this. And you should not be sitting here thinking, oh yeah, well, that's great. Other people can do it, but I can't because of whatever. I don't even know why you would think that way. Well, I know, because it's just human nature. People don't, and as an entrepreneur, and as a person who has certain strengths and weaknesses, right? It's hard for me to understand that kind of a thinking. And that's one of the reasons why I've been successful, I think. But I can intellectually get it. Like, I understand that it's human nature, and it doesn't make you, less capable person if you feel that way or think that way. It's just how you're wired, and all of us are wired differently. And honestly, this concept in your mind that you're struggling with might very well be one of your weaknesses. It probably is, but that doesn't mean that you don't have, 3 other strengths, say that I don't have, that will serve you really well. But just like I have to get over the weaknesses that I have, which there are plenty, to be successful, you have to get over this weakness to be successful. Because the answer is yes, you can do this. Tons of our folks have had massive success. Many of them without, many of them with zero experience, and training them was very simple, and we can absolutely, do that for you, absolutely. And if you're ever thinking about, well, is this the right time? Is this, for God's sakes, this is the right time. E-com has been growing year over year over year over year, steady, wonderful growth. And it's been the only retail sectors that's been growing. But obviously COVID brought a lot of bad things, but one of the good things it brought was, 5 or 10 years worth of e-commerce growth in 1 year. The jump from 2019 to 2020 is epic, and it is here to stay. So believe me, here we are early in 2021. If you're thinking, well, is this the right time? Yeah, it's the right time. The opportunity is colossal. This perfect storm of e-com going like, whoop, like this, right? Along with this business model and free traffic and Launchpad and, suppliers and products. I mean, if you're looking for a way to, kind of get those freedoms that we were all talking about in the beginning and be successful in 2021 and build your own business in 2021, this is the time, and this is it, guys, for sure. And it's really down to all these reasons, all the things that we've been, just talking about. And I would say that the biggest reason is this whole, it's not just very low risk, it's no risk, man. No risk. I defy anyone to tell me where the risk is in this whole, in this whole thing that we're talking about, this whole opportunity here. There is no risk.
Guys, I'm just taking back the audio and the presentership here. So I want to just let me know if this is making sense. Give us a message using the chat feature that we've got on the broadcast page. And as a reminder, if you are tuning in on YouTube, you'll see a link that will actually take you to the broadcast page. And we recommend people go to that because we can help you through the chat functionality, and we would like to do that. And we've actually already answered hundreds and hundreds of questions in there. We've got a group of our team in there who are typing like madmen at the moment, making sure they answer all the questions. So definitely use that if you haven't used it already. And just to reiterate, we do have more cash and different bits and pieces to give away later. So stay tuned for that. Right now though, I hope that you're starting to see what an amazing system is and why we are so excited about it. We've seen so many success stories from our students, and they didn't have any of these shortcuts that Steve has been mentioning. And what we've done for 2021 is to put together a package of tools, training, and support to give you everything that you would need to build a business just like that. And this is what Kibo Code Quantum is all about. It's something that we've put an enormous amount of effort into, and I'm really proud with what we've come up with here. So I'm going to walk you through the different components here now. Now, the battle cry for Kibo Quantum is speed, speed, speed. It's all about speed. And you'll see later on, we've actually got a special challenge, which is specifically to do with the speed. And I'll talk about that, like I say, in a few moments time. But we are so confident that we can get you to seeing results quickly, more confident than ever before because of the different breakthroughs that we've made there. But let me go through the 7 main components first, and then you'll see how these tie in and actually allow you to get that speed happening, okay? And after I've been through the components, you'll also be able to, well, you can do this at any time. You'll see there's a button below this video that you can use if you want to go ahead and invest in this, you can do that. So the components, the first is what we call the Academy, and this is where all the training takes place. So what we do is each week we've got a couple of different live sessions. One is about actual training, another is about questions and answers. And then in addition to that, we release bite-sized videos and we work through module by module by module. Now, the focus on the first 30 days is to get you to make as many sales as we possibly can. So we're going to hit the ground running straight out of the gate and give you access to the things that are going to allow you to do that. And the training obviously goes hand in hand with that. So you're going to get everything that we know about this business model. We're going to share all of that with you so that you can advance here. And then we've got the Launchpad. Now, Steve spoke a little bit about this already, but it's incredibly easy to use. I'll actually take you over to it and show it to you a little bit later here. And we're going to take a look inside. But what you're getting is a powerful, advanced system, which is newbie friendly, which is actually can be quite challenging to put together. And what we've done is we've rolled in all of the ninja functionality and conversion options that we need into this to make sure that what you're using is designed to get you the highest conversions possible. And again, you can see everything at your fingertips and it's newbie friendly every step of the way. Now, in addition to the Launchpad, the third component is what we're calling a SuperStore. It's called a SuperStore because it's an e-commerce store, but it's got all of these bells and whistles built into it. Now, traditionally, if you were building one of these stores with, some other platform like Shopify as an example, you would have to pay over $1,000 every single month to get the same functionality with, paid apps that have a recurring price month after month after month that you're getting just straight out of the box with this. So this is a done for you store. Okay, we've never ever done a complete start to finish done for you website for anyone before, and that's what we're doing here. And here you can see that we actually broke down 8 different apps that we normally use in the past anyway on the Shopify store, and it would come to over $1,000 a month. So a big saving there. And the other beauty about this is that we've got this push button, I should say, switch over So you can upgrade from, another platform like Shopify into our Launchpad at the push of a button. Super, super easy to migrate over. And then we've got the Profit Vault. Now, Profit Vault, hopefully you can sort of see the value here from when Steve was sharing information about this with you previously, but over 2 million products from 220 different suppliers, where we can see inventory levels in real time, and every single one of these products is in the United States. So you can offer that, Amazon experience where you buy something on a Monday and your customer's got it, on a Wednesday, or I should say your customer buys something from you on a Monday and they've got it on, Wednesday or Tuesday even sometimes. So we've got the Profit Vault there, and we've got the hand-picked products for you, the icing on the cake, just to allow you to hit the ground running. And that's the fourth component. And we've invested an enormous amount of time and energy and money into developing this, and hundreds of thousands of dollars between this and the Launchpad, without a doubt. Kibo accelerators are next. So these are specific training modules, like action plans that dive deeper into a specific strategy or tactic. Okay, and these are things that you're going to be able to use to get more traffic, make more money, and increase profits on your store. And then the Power Labs shortcuts, mainly around software, more software. We haven't even had time to dive into the specifics of these in this workshop, but things like domain tools, design tools, listing builders, and much, much more. Again, designed to make your life easier and streamline everything. And then we've got the support underneath it all. Now, we've built up an amazing support team over the past decade, really, where we've got different types of support, different levels of support. So in one area, we've sort of got like admin stuff. Like if you ever lose your password or something, then we'll have people that will be able to help you out immediately. Then we've got sort of more strategic coaching support, where if you need strategy help, if you want to figure out how you can boost conversions or something, then you'll come to one of our coaches. And that's where, Steve and I are a lot more hands-on, getting involved, replying to people as well. So we've got this amazing multifaceted support system in place where you can get help 365 days a year. It's always there. We're always there for our members. And then on top of all of this, you're getting access to the virtual event. This is a live 2-day event where you're going to be able to get a lot more training about building beyond what we're doing with Kibo Quantum, and also advanced tactics and things that you can roll into your Kibo Quantum stores. So this is massively valuable. Obviously, we'd love to be doing this live in person with you, but we still can't. We still don't know when we're going to be able to easily do that. But you're getting the value of a live in-person event that you can enjoy from the comfort of your own home. So there's really no downside to that. And then we've got the Kibo achievement system. This is something pretty cool, quite unique that we're doing here. And we've got 2 goals with this. One is to help you with your accountability, and there are other things that we're going to do to help with that as well. But the other is to make it fun and to give you sort of levels that you can sort of level up through, like you're playing a video game or something. So you'll get a badge, I should say, just for having your store up, and we'll do that for you. And then, make your first sale, you'll get another badge. Make $100, you'll get your next badge, and all the way through to, $2 million in earnings. So we're going to hope as many of you, progress through these badges, get as many of them as you can, and they'll appear in different places in the community. So as Steve has said a few times here, all of the obstacles have been eliminated. There's no risk, there's no traffic issues. You don't pay a dime for traffic unless you want to do that, and certainly not to begin with. High profit margins, rapid results, and the goal, and I'll talk about this in a moment, is to get you to 100 sales in your first 30 days. And hopefully in the process of doing that, you'll already hit a $1,000 per week profit run rate, and then you'll be able to scale and expand to $5,000 per week and 10,000 and beyond. Now, it goes without saying, you're going to have to put in the work to actually do this, but we're going to be helping you as much as we can every step of the way. And if you sort of think that, wow, is it really possible to get to $10,000 a week with free traffic that we're talking about? Well, here's an example that you saw earlier, $21,000 in 7 days, and this one would have been around about $10,000 in profit. So it is something that's doable. You don't need any special experience for this. The financial roadblocks of the past, especially relating to traffic, have been removed. There's actually only one thing you need to buy once you come inside here, and that's a domain name. So that costs about $10, and maybe you've already got a domain name that you can use. You simply need to get motivated. You need to take steps and take action, like I was talking about earlier. That's when the magic happens. So I've mentioned the 30-day challenge a couple of times now, and this is going to be something that we spend, the initial 30 days really focused on. We know that if we can get you to where you're doing 100 sales in your first 30 days, even if it's half of that, most people would probably be happy with that. But through all the testing we've done, through everything that we know about this model, we know that this is a conservative goal. So 100 sales in your first, 30 days, that could represent $5,000 in revenue quite easily. This thing here that we were selling, I think this was like, what was it, like $150, I think it was, something like that. If you did 100 sales of that kind of thing in your first 50 days, that's, $15,000 in revenue. So yeah, you can make pretty decent money here, and you just have to put in some work and follow the process. So it's really important to get that first big win, I think, as well, because it really sets you up with that mindset shift, and you can then see, oh wow, I'm actually doing this. This works. I can do it, and you'll persevere and you'll push on, and it'll give you confidence. So the aim, again, simple: get you to 100 sales in your first 30 days, and hopefully you'll hit a run rate of $1,000 profit per week during that time, or otherwise you'll be very close to it. And we're going to help you every step of the way, and we're going to help you take massive action to do this. So Kibo Quantum, this is the perfect opportunity for anyone, really. I mean, if you are listening to this right now and you're thinking, I want to do something different, I want to make 2021 my breakthrough year, then this is a great opportunity. If you're listening to this now and you're someone who has, maybe struggled in the past, then this is a great way that you can hit the reset button. You can hit the reset button. Don't give up on your dreams. Keep pushing forward. Or maybe you've already got some kind of an online business that you're working on. Well, this is something that can run alongside it. It's probably going to be complementary, because if nothing else, should give you some good passive cash flow that you can invest into whatever project that you want. Now, a couple of limitations. We are limited every year by the number of people that we can help, even more so this year because we're doing more done for you components. We're giving 10 different products to each person that comes in. We're actually doing a store for you. This takes time, and then we're also limited by the amount of support that we can actually provide. So we can't take an unlimited number of people in here, and we start on Friday, so we've got a hard deadline by which you need to be in, and we're either going to shut down when we hit capacity, or we're going to definitely shut down before the training starts, because we need you in so that you can be working through that 30-day challenge. So what's it going to take to get started here? You're getting all the systems, all the strategies, everything that we know, all the ingredients, tools, resources, everything that we know about how to build this business and how to do it in the most streamlined way possible. And if you're serious about creating, a real online business in 2021, then this is an amazing opportunity. And, Steve and I, we sat down and we really battled with the pricing of this. We said, we've got hundreds and hundreds, and I'll show you some of these later, but we've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people who came through the first time, who have got their success stories, who are making money every day with this. That's got to count for something, because the proof is really in the pudding at this point. Also, we charge $12,000 annually for our mastermind, and what we're putting together here is the most comprehensive training that we've ever done with Kibo Quantum. We've poured a fortune, hundreds of thousands of dollars into developing everything here, and that doesn't take into account our time either. So we played around with this price. We thought, could we sell it for $9,997? We know it would be a good deal. We know that serious people would come into it, but we also realized that a lot of people, just be beyond most people. And even if people could afford it, they might not want to, they may just feel uncomfortable, so we didn't go with that. Now, $4,997, I think to put this in perspective, if all of this does is get you to the point where you're making $100 profit day after day after day, for the foreseeable future, would that be worth a one-time investment of $4,997? Or if all this does, this means you no longer have to worry about, financial stress, because this covers the mortgage payments, covers the credit card payments, pays the bills, then would that be worth a one-time investment of $4,997? Hopefully you can see that it would, but we're not going to ask you for that today. You can see the link on the screen there, and you'll see a button actually below this broadcast. If you're on our broadcast page, you can get immediate access to this for one payment of $3,497 or 4 payments of $997. So we recommend most people take that one-time payment option, and for a couple of reasons. One is it means you're all in, and it means that you don't have to worry about any more recurring billing. But the other reason is that it's going to give you an instant discount of $491. $491 discount for people who take that. Now, you're not going to be penalized if you take the split pay. So you've got that option as well. And the other thing is that you've got zero risk. Okay, there's absolutely no risk here. You've got 30 days to test this out. If you change your mind within 30 days, we'll give you your money back. No hard feelings, no questions asked. In fact, I'll just be happy that you even took the leap of faith to give us a go. You put some faith in us. So you've got no risk here from a financial standpoint. We are completely backing you up, and we're doing something else which no one ever does. But I think this speaks to how confident we are in our ability to get you going and making sales, regardless of what you may or may not have achieved in the past. And we're offering a double your money back guarantee. So the way this works is, as long as you follow every step of the training curriculum, without deviation, and actively use our support system and our tools and resources, then we guarantee to not only refund your purchase, but double your money back if for some reason you're not able to make sales in your first 60 days. So we are so confident that you can get up and running with this, that we are able to offer you this double guarantee. And we want to change your life. We don't want anything to prevent you from giving this a try. You've got nothing to lose here and everything to gain. So hopefully you can see that there's absolutely zero risk from the standpoint of, a financial standpoint. You're going to have to come in, put some work in, and work the system, but then that you've got no risk. So don't wait any longer to sign up. We have still got more things to cover in this broadcast here today, but you can see the link right below this broadcast. You should be able to see a button there. Or the other thing that you can do, you can actually see the link which is in the presentation slides here. You can copy that into your browser. You can go ahead. You can jump in and you can secure your investment right now. And if you actually do that, please do me a favor and let me know. Send me a message using the chat functionality that we've got here, just to let me know that you've jumped in. And the reason I want you to do this is we are doing something extra special for people who come in on our Super Sunday presentation. I'm going to explain what that is a little bit later on in the call. Okay, but right now, if you're jumping in, please let us know in that chat functionality there that you have jumped in, so that because that way we'll know your name and email, and we'll actually be able to upgrade you to what we're giving you here. So I'll reveal what that extra special bonus is a little bit later. So we are going to do some more cash giveaways, but just to recap first on the timeline, we've got a software demo coming up next, and then we're going to get into the business grid, and then we'll talk a little bit more about the results first approach and lots of other bells and whistles and things that I think can help you in 2021, regardless of what you do. Again, though, please don't wait for us to stop talking here. You can see the button below the broadcast. You can go to that when you're ready to jump in, or you can see the link on the screen. We have had people for different reasons over the past few days who have struggled to actually get in because of technical issues that happen when they're on that checkout page. So it'll be great if we can actually help you out here live. If you run into any issues, then we're going to be able to help you, because we are here live and we can take any questions through the live chat functionality. Okay, so time to give away a bit more cash. Steve, wonder if you had any ideas about anything that we could maybe ask people this time. So let's just recap how this works. So in case you missed the first $500 cash giveaway, we're going to ask a question, and the first two people to tell us in the chat box that you'll see on the broadcast page will win $250 in cash. First two people that get the right answer. So do you have an idea for a question there, Steve?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first one was kind of difficult, so maybe one that's a little bit easier.
It was a bit
okay.
difficult. Yeah, sounds good. Yeah.
Huh?
Yes. Have you got a question?
Yeah. So how about where am I currently broadcasting from? How about that? I did mention it, maybe once or twice.
Yeah.
It's not too bad.
It's not too bad.
And I'm not wearing a shirt that says it, so.
Right. Yeah. So, the first question was tough, but a couple of people were paying very close attention and they got it. So I was quite relieved about that, actually. So we're going to give a chance for people to type that in, and we do have a slight delay between when we speak and when you actually hear it. Like it's like a 10-second delay or something. So we'll give a chance for that to happen. Maybe in the meantime, I can start on my my live demo here. Well, actually, let me just see. Have we got anyone? Yeah, people are people. Well, I think we've got a couple of winners here, Steve. So let's.
Okay.
Do we? Oh no, hang on. I think they're still just coming in. So okay, guys. What I'll do is you need to let us know where Steve is, and yep, we're just getting. Okay, so we've got the first winner, and the first winner is Doug. Congratulations, Doug. I'll get some information around.
Get more information.
Yeah, so Doug is using an at talus.net email address. Right. Doug, you know who you are, and we will we will reply to you to let you know that you have won $250 in cash, and we're looking for one more winner, and then we will continue on here. And I can see we got one coming in here. The next winner is Mark. Okay, so and we'll get some information around the email address there. Okay, so we've got okay, I don't know how I'm going to get that one. So it's an at earthlink.net. And Mark, congratulations, $250 in cash to those two people, Doug and Mark. Congratulations, guys. We've got more cash to give away later. So stay tuned, keep listening to what we're talking about here. We've got a few more fun things to do as well. So the next fun thing that I want to do, and God, this could go horribly wrong because technology sucks sometimes, but I want to do a live demo. So before I do this, and I want to make sure that your chat box is working and you're using that functionality. So we've got a lot of people watching right now. I want at least 100, well, actually that's a silly metric. Let's say I just want a good number of you to type in live demo and send that across to us in the chat box, so I can see on my other monitor here once this starts populating. So I'll give that a little bit of time. And what we're going to do on the live demo is I'm going to show you just what the back end looks like. It might share some results with you. Might be something else I can share as well. Okay, so okay, yeah, so they're starting to come in now. So all right, guys. So let's see. The very first thing that you'll see is a page that looks like this. I am going to just try to change the page that I'm looking at here. I'm going to share a different screen. Let me see if I can get this right. Oops. Okay, so you should be able to see my browser there now. And this is what our Launchpad sort of looks like once you come into it. And you'll see that there are different steps that you can go through up here. And these are designed to just streamline your setup process. And then if we scroll down a bit here, you'll see that you've got different sales channels. We'll talk about how you integrate those and grow those. And then you've got some sort of important metrics over here. And I love diving down into the analytics and having a look at, you know, where the sales came from, what products people purchased, you know, dollars per sale, and just so much more. We've also got a live view that you can look at. You can see your customers, your products that are being sold, and so on and so forth. So this is what the Launchpad looks like, okay? It's giving you a lot of power, but it's in a way that is still easy to use. Now, the Launchpad needs to have products. So for that, we've got our Profit Vault. And this is the database of products. And this is a demo view here, where you can, you know, filter on lots of different things and find one that you're interested in, like this one here, drone. And then you can start looking at different search trends and different bits and pieces of information to make a decision about whether you want to suck it into your store or not. And then if you do, and you've got different photos and stuff that you can look at there and sales information, then if you wanted to, you could customize it even further and then press a button, zap a button, click a button, and it'll zap it into your store. Now, this is what the product page looks like on a store. This is a category page. This here is like a product page. So funny thing about a lot of the products that we sell with the free marketplace is that it's kind of counterintuitive because they don't have to be these small little products. Like traditionally with e-commerce and selling physical products online, it's been beneficial if it's a small little product. But a lot of people through this marketplace are buying things like furniture and bigger items. So this is an example of a rolling wooden kitchen trolley with storage drawers. And you can see how this is formatted. Now, if I was looking at this on a mobile device, it would look different, but completely optimized, and it makes the process super, super simple here. You can add it to the cart, go out and finish your checkout. Now, I'm going to do share something else again here. Go back over to my slides. Actually, yeah, I'll go back over to my slides there. So hopefully you could get a bit of an idea about some of the way that all works. And look, this is a brand new store, and it's done $5,134 in the past 7 days. I'm not sure if you can see the date there, but over the past week, $5,134 in 1 week. And you know, when people, for the members of Kibo Quantum, we're actually going to be diving into the website and having a look at exactly how the sales came from, where the sales came from. Yeah, by the way, these sales are all from 100% free traffic. Okay, so good profit margins on these, and you can see there are 52 sales in the past 7 days, average order value of $98, and it just works. It works amazingly well. Complete order automation from start to finish. So when someone actually buys something from you, the whole automation process is automated. So Steve, with that said, do you want to go through the business grid now? And just look, before you even get to that, I just want to reiterate to people that you can get into this right now. You know, we've got the 2 payment options. We would like for you to get in while we are still on this live broadcast, so that if you have any issues with jumping in, we can help you out. Okay, we've got the live chat feature. Again, 0 risk. You've got everything to gain here and nothing to lose. There's absolutely no financial risk whatsoever. We've completely eliminated that. You can come in and take this for a test drive. In fact, you'll be in the members area within a minute or two of actually doing this. I do actually want to show one more thing, just while I've still got controls here. Let me see if I can bring up another page. This is something that I just love. Okay, so here we are looking inside our community, guys, and this is something that you'll have access to, the quantum area of this anyway. And these are people that came into our program a year ago, and what I want you to see is the kind of things they're writing. I'm not going to open up each one of these stories, but people are writing in and commenting in this community, telling us that they made their sales. 1,000 in sales last week, you know, 68% profit margin, 500 sales, my first sale, another win, just hit $1,000 in sales, 5 sales in 4 consecutive days, $3,740 in sales. All of these people are people who came in, a year ago. So they were on a workshop or a broadcast, not too dissimilar to this one. So basically like what you're on right now. And when we presented the opportunity to them, they took that leap of faith and they jumped in here. And you can see it's just page after page after page after page, like literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of success stories. You can't make this stuff up. You know, this is real deal. Now, we've said all along that, you know, the success stories have blown us away, completely unprepared for the amount of success, completely, you know, unprecedented, you know, rate of success. So we had never, in all of our years of doing this online, never before had we seen such a high ratio of number of people who, you know, take part actually go on to get these amazing sales. And it's because the system is simple and it works, and we're giving people what they actually need through a value-added service. Now, keep in mind that not like none of the people that are writing about their successes here, none of these people had access to the shortcuts. None of them had access to the, you know, to the free traffic. You know, none of them had access to the profit vault in the way that you're going to have access to. None of them had those 10 done for you products. None of them had automated order fulfillment and a lot of the other, you know, bells and whistles that we've spoken about here, like the launchpad is a big one. You know, these people had to pay a recurring cost, you know, month after month for a shopping platform. You're not going to have to do any of that. So you're getting every single thing that these people have got but much, much more, much better, and allow you to get results much, much faster. So, take this for what it is. These are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people who are writing in, sharing their results with us. And I'm still only, not even really making a dent in the number of people that are sharing their stories with us here. It's just amazing. And we would like that for you. But you need to take that leap of faith if you want to do this, because this is not something that is going to be open to the public much more. You've heard a lot from us already. We've still got a lot more to cover here, but I just want to urge people, if you haven't jumped in yet, then what are you waiting for? What's the worst that could happen here? Let me know, what's the worst that could happen? I think the worst that could happen is you come in, you spend, I don't know, a couple of hours going through it, and you're just like, I don't feel like this. It's not for me. And you change your mind, get your money back. But I know that that's really not going to happen, because people who come in are going to be excited, and you're going to see that you're going to be able to get sales very, very quickly without needing to invest anything. So but just before I hand it over to Steve, take this leap of faith if you want to do it. Now is the time to do it. There's never going to be a better time to do it. And remember, if you jump in while we are on this workshop, and this is only while we are on this live Super Sunday broadcast, you're going to get something super special, which I'm going to reveal to you a little bit later on in the call. Okay, so don't wait any longer. Take this opportunity, jump in right now, and let us know once you're in. Remember to let us know once you're in. And we can take that away. So, Steve, do you want me to hold the screen for while we do this business grid, or is it easier for you to take it? Or I think it's just this, and then we've got the interview.
Yep, absolutely. I think what's important about this, right, is when you make the goal and you say, all right, I'm gonna start a business in 2021. And I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I'm going to do it online, and I'm going to make a big impact on my life and get those different kinds of freedom that we've been talking about. Financial, time, geographic freedom. You're probably going to be a little overwhelmed because there are so many different types of business models that you could do, and so you're looking at them, a bunch of them anyway, right here, and there's definitely more of them as well. But these would certainly be, the big ones. And, all of them have pros and cons, and all of them you can be successful at. We do every single one of these, with the exception of, we're not really doing much Kindle anymore. I would say Aiden's wife still does Kindle, but we don't really. But every other one we are heavily involved in, and have, multiple companies that have grown up around those different business models and are super successful. But when you're starting out new, or you're expanding from, maybe one other business model or something like that, you really need to be careful, and you need to really think through all the pros and cons, because it's likely really, really important that you can get fast results, get significant results, have zero risk, and not spend, money. That's probably what most people are after. It's certainly what most people ask us about. And there aren't a lot of business models, like there's one, that really meet all of those, check all those boxes. And, you have to really think about, is it beginner friendly? How much money do I have to have? What's the success rate? What's the reasonable success rate? What's the risk? Traffic is really important, even though that there are lots of, pain points and potential obstacles in all of these different business models. The one thing they share together is every business model does, is traffic. And so you better be able to figure out the traffic, or you're never going to be successful. Does it take technical knowledge? Do you have to create a lot of content? Is it easy to outsource? I mean, those are really, really important things. And if you kind of look at, the 2 to 3 year income potential, what could you reasonably grow a business to? What are you going to see in the first year? This kind of speaks to that, the short term versus the medium term versus the long term. How long does it take to see results? What's the overall difficulty level? How much money do you need, right? How much ongoing maintenance do you need? How scalable it is? These are all the things that you really, really need to think through. And I would certainly add traffic on there, and I would add, risk on there and that sort of thing. But if you look at Amazon white label, it's got lots of pros. The big cons are that it's slow. The year one potential is less. The time to see results is months. It's moderate difficulty. It's got a lot of startup costs. I would argue probably more than that. And so the big issue there is going to be, the costs and the risk associated with that. If you look at affiliate marketing, you've got, great potential in the medium to longer term, but the upfront one, the short term is not so great, because it can take a really long time to get that business off the ground, because you're, as I say, you got to kiss a lot of frogs before you find your prince, to really find that right offer. We'll leave the Kibo code last. Kindle, I'm going to kind of skip. I think not a lot of people are doing that, and I don't think it's really very scalable anymore right now. Info products, huge income potentials, definitely, but a huge amount of time and effort, and oftentimes a lot of cost goes into that, and a lot of risk associated with it. SEM consulting, a lot of maintenance, a lot of trading hours for dollars and things, which is something that maybe you can't get into, because, it stops you from, going on the beach, and it's harder to outsource and that sort of thing. Amazon wholesale can be great, but it's usually a lot of admin stuff, dealing with suppliers and ongoing analysis of products and handling kind of like a just-in-time inventory cycle, where you're buying and churning through a lot of inventory, and you need to do it in a very, very organized and efficient manner in order to manage your cash flow. So it gets a little crazy. Software as a service, SaaS, where you develop software. Shopify, for example, is software as a service. You develop software and then you sell that software online, and that can be fantastic. We have a couple companies that do that. But so the longer term income potential is very high, and the profit margin is very high, but the startup costs are enormous, way more than anything else on this grid. Hundreds of thousands of dollars. Usually the complexity is high. You need to, usually hire a whole programming team, that sort of thing. And then you've got, sort of the kind of another hybrid e-commerce model, where you're using things like AliExpress and, advertising on Facebook and shipping out products from China. And, that's got some good long-term potential, although it's starting to get a little bit harder to do because goods take so long. But it's a little bit harder from an ongoing maintenance perspective, just because there's a lot more customer service and things like that. So at the end of the day, look, I mean, unsurprisingly, we're trying to make the case here that if you want to make huge progress in 2021, if you want things fast, you want success fast, you want it risk-free, and you want it without spending any money, the Kibo code model with all these shortcuts, the Kibo code quantum, is really, what we're talking about. That we would, if anybody had asked me, what should I do in 2021? It is, for all the reasons we've been talking about, it's Kibo code quantum. There is no contest, zero.
So, good time to meet Sean then, is it? Or did you have anything else on the business grid?
Yeah, no, I think it's a great time to bring Sean in. Let's see if we can get him Sean on video.
Yeah.
Because he's got that wild shirt. Whoa, oh God. Is that the like dynamic filter option?
Oh, that is just like my bold webinar interview shirt.
Wow. That's like the real world color. Okay.
I like this picture you got of me too, by the way. It gives me a lot of extra hair. I look good there.
Yeah, well, that's a couple of years old, I guess, at this point. Yeah. So now that everybody's got some sunglasses so they can look at Sean, let me introduce Sean. So Sean is we all met through, like many things in our business. It started with one of the folks that was part of our mastermind group. And that person was a friend of Sean's. And when we started looking at doing some research into different e-commerce models, as we're always doing, this person suggested, hey, you guys would get along well with Sean, and it would be a good contact for you to start to talk with him. And so Sean's been an internet marketer in his own right for several years, and does a lot of affiliate marketing with CPA offers, and also e-commerce. Those are really the two things that are his expertise. And a couple years ago, we started working with Sean, because whenever we're looking at researching different business models and looking for the best ideas and that sort of thing, we constantly go out and look for other people to talk to and work with, because I mean that's the best way to get fantastic results, is kind of surround yourself with smart people who have different experiences and can bring a different pair of eyes to what you're doing. So this was, again, a couple years ago, prior to our first Kibo iteration, and Sean was doing a lot of e-commerce like us. And so Sean, tell us, at that point, kind of what were the barriers that you were running into, which were similar to the same ones we were running into, to kind of e-com expansion and further success prior to us kind of talking through what would become the original Kibo model?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting business grid you just showed, because I feel like I've done every one of the businesses on that list myself. I actually started my e-com journey on Amazon dropshipping back in 2013 into 2014. And, it was quite lucrative at the time, but as you showed on the business grid, and you really talk about Amazon dropshipping, but you like to go wholesale, dropshipping just became super difficult. Margins became razor thin. Amazon policy changed. They don't really like dropshipping. And so unless you wanted to go out there and spend like $200,000 of your own cash every month just to bring in like $5,000 in profit, which is an extremely risky venture, you really had to move to a private label or wholesale type business, which I tried and failed. And so that was it for me. I just couldn't do that anymore. So I moved on to Facebook, right? And Facebook ads, particularly with AliExpress products, and did really well there. We would sell these products from China. It was usually like these little Harry Potter things. We run like a free plus shipping model. We do really, really good.
Yeah.
But customer service was a major issue, because products take forever to get from China to America. And Facebook, for those of you out there who run ads, the nightmare that it is. They change the rules. They shut down ad accounts all the time, which I should say is very separate from the Facebook marketplace, but nonetheless, it just became problematic and expensive. So I would go e-commerce model to e-commerce model and do extremely well. But, when we first met, I was sort of back at the drawing board, just trying to figure out, how can we get a long-term viable e-commerce model going that, doesn't involve, Amazon, Facebook ads, China suppliers, and all these other obstacles that sort of everybody who was in the e-commerce space was facing at that time.
Yep. And I should just clarify one thing, that drop shipping is problematic for if you're doing like an arbitrage method on Amazon, but it's not problematic overall. It's a fine, model. In fact, one of the biggest companies out there now who's gone through the roof, Wayfair, they have traditionally done the majority of their products are drop shipped.
Yeah.
And they've been going through the roof with COVID, because everybody's at home ordering furniture and stuff like that. In fact, they haven't been profitable until this year, I think, or last year. So what was it about when we all sat down to look at the Kibo model, and because you're at this kind of crossroads, and we were looking for ways to make our e-com more efficient and stuff. What was it about the Kibo model that got you interested in working together with us to try and test that out and figure out how to make it work?
Yeah, so just all the obstacles I just spoke about kind of went away, right? Finding a traffic source. We did the first version of Kibo, and now this version, which has a free traffic source, even phenomenal, that is consistent, and the Kibo traffic source that everybody else ran last year, you just had consistent traffic across the board. It was traffic that people are looking for. Somebody types in Google, Aiden showed this furniture, whatever, kitchen console table or something, and your ad pops up. They just click on your ad and buy. So that was one of the most attractive things. I think having products based in the USA, shipping within 3 or 5 days was extremely attractive, and so on. So, again, I would say that one of the major points that I would say is just having an e-commerce model that was long-term in terms of products, in terms of, traffic source, in terms of your own store, and so on and so forth.
Yeah. Yeah, great. So when we were doing all this and testing things out and then comparing notes, we all kind of went off and built our own businesses around the model to make sure it was, reproducible and all that sort of thing. So what did you ultimately create, while sort of, using this Kibo business model and stuff? Where did you ultimately get to?
Yeah, so we have a couple stores, that have generated well over a couple $1 million over the last couple of years. But I think, and I don't want to brush over that. That's actually fantastic.
Yeah,
over that like that was nothing. But the major thing though to me is, being in this space, e-com, internet marketing, all the different businesses I've tried. One of my major focuses over the last 2 years was automation. And having all these businesses and having my own children and things like that, I just don't have time to sit around. I can't put 40 hours of my own time in every single week. So I have a team of 8 virtual assistants based out of the Philippines, and these guys are amazing. Obviously, it takes a little bit of time to train them, but they manage all of my store completely. Any sort of customer emails we get, the few amount of returns that naturally happen with your store, et cetera, et cetera. Any technicalities, if I want a logo or a color or whatever change, it's a simple Skype message, it's done. And I maybe spend once a week on a 20-minute call with my manager just to make sure things are good, check my profit and loss. But my stores are just crushing it all day, every day, and just completely automated without me really having to do anything. I golfed, as you know, Steve. I golfed like all summer long.
I'm aware. You're a much better golfer than I am.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm not.
What do you mean? Well, yeah. That's, the hell. The hell.
Of course.
Well, of course. Yeah. Well, yeah. Who isn't a better golfer than you?
I didn't want to go there, but.
Yeah. We'll see if Tim is a better golfer. Anyway. So, one thing I should also mention that you probably don't know about Sean, because he hasn't said the word about yet. He's from Canada. So, this also speaks to the ability to do this outside of the US, even though Canada's kind of really the US. But anyway, so we all saw, when we did real well with Kibo and everything was great, but there's still some things that got in our way, of kind of killing it. What did you see over that first year of
Yeah, I mean, I speak to a little of my own issues, but one of the things that was kind of neat with the first Kibo is we put all this training together and you put it out there, and then your initial thoughts are like, we poured our heart and soul into this. Is it actually going to do well? And then you saw the forum posts, people they crushed it. Even from the person that, I can't remember that slide you showed to Matt, like 5, 6, 7, 800,000 in sales, down to the person that their first online business that was successful over 10 different years of 10 businesses, right?
Yep.
But, there were challenges. Part of that was the supplier based. We did introduce some suppliers in the United States, but a lot of these suppliers, they require reseller certificates, or, you got to put your social security number in, or whatever it is. Yeah. It becomes more of a challenge for internationals. Even me in Canada, somebody who has all this e-com experience, you can't just call up a supplier and be like, hey, I want to sell your products. It just doesn't work that way. And so that definitely became a bit of a challenge that I think we're going to talk about how we overcame that. And Shopify, I love Shopify. Okay. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, they're Canadian.
They're a great Canadian company. I have one of my good friends was like employee number 4 there. Yeah. And done really well as a company. Obviously, I think they sell like $600, $700, $800 a share, so it's insane. Yeah. But it's what bothers the hell out of me is that it's not simple to set up. When I set up a new Shopify store, I have a team, and it still takes me a couple days to get it all perfect the way I want it. So I can't imagine how it is for somebody just coming in off the street. Number 2 is you need like 8, 9, 10 different apps just to make your store highly converting. One of those apps, you can look this up. This isn't marketing speak. I'm not going to name them, but it's a post-purchase upsell app. It costs $500 a month. Plus, they take some of your revenue. So it's extremely expensive. Like I was paying upwards of $1,000 a month just to make that store run, right? And then, of course, traffic. You know, I love paid traffic. I've spent millions on Google, millions on Microsoft, millions on Facebook. No problem for me. But as somebody coming off the street wanting to start their e-commerce business, wouldn't it be great if we could find a traffic source that costs nothing to start out? And, you know, we've overcome all those issues going into Quantum, at least I feel like anyway. So that's what's really exciting.
Well, speaking of Quantum, what the hell you been doing all last year? For the last year? What have you been doing?
Well, outside of golfing all summer long, it's been many long, late nights with our technical development team, building out the Launchpad, building out Profit Vault. I'm really excited and actually really proud of Launchpad. We spent a lot of money on this thing. We spent a lot of hours on this thing. And it solves all the problems. You literally can be able to walk in the door and get set up 5-10 minutes tops. Okay, products loaded, theme done, everything that you need. And there's not going to be any added cost for apps. All the apps that you see on a high converting, including that $500 a month app, are part of it. Okay, I don't know why the hell it has to charge $500 a month just to get anyways. That's
because they can.
Because they can, yeah. You know, I mean, it did work. Don't get me wrong. Like I had it on my store because I made good money, but it's ridiculous.
The return on investment is there.
So we did that, and Profit Vault solves the reseller issue. Okay? You don't need to go as an individual wanting to work with American suppliers. You don't need to call them up one by one and get approved. And the kicker on that is not only were we able to solve the issue for people who don't necessarily have the means, or because you're international, or you just don't want to go through the hula hoops of calling, 10, 20, 30 suppliers, which are probably going to decline you a lot of the times too. We were able to build in order automation. So now when somebody buys an item on your Launchpad, okay, you are able to send that information off to the supplier to ship out to the customer. And that supplier will send the tracking information back to the Launchpad to tell the customer the item's been shipped. And you literally have nothing to do. And then of course, the free traffic, right? With Facebook Marketplace. So, I'm really proud and excited about releasing the Kraken, so to speak, to the people that join us.
Well, that's great, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. I can tell you guys that, there's nobody better to have in your corner. Sean has worked tirelessly and has really been the key point of contact for the architect of the software and stuff. And, just comes from places in somebody who's in the trenches doing exactly what we all are doing and what you guys would be doing, and figuring out how to do it better and easier, and, get that holy grail of let's get fast results. Let's get it no risk. Let's get it no extra money. I mean, that's what we've all been working on. So anyway, thanks, man. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Sean. Steve, do you want to just talk through this next slide here, and then I'll dive into a bit of a recap. We've had people sending in lots of questions, so thank you for that. Also, guys, remember, you don't need to wait for us to finish here. You can see the link on the screen. You can type that into your browser. You can't click on the screen to get it. That won't work. But there is a button below the broadcast, and you can click on that. Okay, and you can use that to...
Are people clicking on the screen?
Yeah, sometimes we get people saying, and I get this because it does actually look like a link, saying,
it does.
I can't click on that. It doesn't work when I click on it. So, yeah. And guys, we've got that chat functionality there as well. So please use that. If you've got any questions about the business model, about what we're doing with, what you're getting as a member of Quantum, special links or anything that you might have. So I know we've got a good number of our original Kibo members listening to this as well. So great to have you all here. So why don't you talk through this one, Steve, and then I'll dive into a bit of a recap.
Yeah. So I can't stress this enough, really. And it's a little hard to explain, but we know from doing this for decades, that if we can get you really fast results, really fast, then the chances that you're going to be successful are, it's almost a sure thing, right? Because automatically you're engaged, you're invested, You have a high degree of certainty that this is all going to work for you. I mean, I remember when I made I've told the story maybe before, but I was, I had to make this decision about corporate. Do I go back to the corporate world or can I make a go of it? And I was on the fence. I was like, oh, I need to make sure I make enough sales and I got to build a stable business. And I mean, I had, stay-at-home wife and who was a mom, stay-at-home mom and 2 young kids, and a pretty high burn rate, after being a VP in a Fortune 500 company, we like to spend money. So I was actually on my way to a job interview in California. And I got off the plane and got to baggage claim. And at that point I had like one of those, I don't remember what it was. It wasn't an iPhone yet, but so it was like a HP something or other. Anyway, I could see, or I don't, I could see emails coming in and stuff. So I started to realize that in baggage claim that I was making, finally I had sort of nailed the funnel that I was working on and sales were rolling in. And I could just tell, I just knew, so I'm sitting in baggage claim and I'm like, this is it. I know it's going to happen. And I just called them up and said, yeah, and I changed my mind and I got on a plane and went right back home. I was like, I'm out. I'm not doing it anymore. And that's what it can do for you, is to have that early success. It can just get you on that path. And all of a sudden, all of these dominoes just start to fall. And that's what we want for everybody. And so I cannot stress enough how engaged we are going to be with being focused on getting that fast results, so not just getting results, but getting them fast. And, I think we've got a lot of new ideas on how to do that. Not the least of which is, pick for your products first, get them right out of the gate. Look, here's the bottom line. On Friday, you're going to get your picked for you products. That's the bottom line. And Launchpad. And so you're going to be diving into this. You're going to be thrown into the deep end with us though, to just buoy you up there. And we are going to make things happen so fast. Okay. And we've got a lot of different ideas on how to be a lot more proactive so that we don't leave anybody behind. And we are going to make you successful. Okay. And now there are plenty of people that, are going to be like, oh, I have something going on with my family, or I can't work this week, but I'll start next. That's totally okay. Because we will also accommodate people who want to work on their own schedule and work on their own time. This is not some flash in the pan thing where if you don't build it, next week, it's going to disappear or something. Okay. Now you do have to get in with us right away. There's definitely a sense of urgency there for many, many reasons. But you can go at your own pace. Absolutely. All right. And we will accommodate that. But we're going to make you successful, or we're going to know why and then fix it. Okay. And our whole design of how we're building the curriculum, how we're delivering the training, how we're engaging with people, how we're tracking what people are doing, is designed around that. So it's going to be crazy. You need to get into this right now.
And just on that note, I can actually see, Steve, while you're talking there, we've had 5 or 6 more people have just jumped in. I'm going to read out some names. Good. So excuse me while I look over at my other monitor here. We've had Troy, Michael, Anna, another Michael, Philip, Robert, Jefferson, Marco, and Daryl have just jumped in the past couple of moments. Before that, we had Jesse, Aaron, John, Terry, Al, Gus, Billy, Ryan, Deborah, Dale, Mary, Ann, Samir, IP, John, Jan, Celeste, Courtney, Susan, and George. So congratulations, guys, who has jumped in, who has already gone and jumped in. I mentioned I've been teasing a little bit about an extra, some extra bonuses and stuff that we're going to give you. So, a big part of how I think I really accelerated my success online was by having other people help me a lot. So I mentioned earlier getting success through outsourcing work and having other people do things. I'd wake up in the morning and I'd have more work done on my business, and I started off outsourcing with just a few hours per week, and here we are all these years later, and we've got a team of 60 people with all different specialties all over the world, and they're amazing. So, that's undoubtedly been a big part in my journey and my success as an online entrepreneur. So for anyone who jumps in here while we are on Super Sunday, what we're going to do is we're going to give you a course. This is a course that we've sold for $1,500 previously. And it's all about building a system that's going to allow you to outsource, okay, to build up a team, and starting with tiny little jobs to begin with that are not going to cost you much money, and obviously only paying for things that are actually going to make you money. And if you want to do that, but we're going to give you full access to that training program here today. In addition to everything that you're getting in Kibo Quantum, you're also going to get our Outsource Mastery program, which is sold for $1,500. It's a real program with thousands of members actually, and you're getting it here today only for people that are tuning in to watch this. Okay, so just a little added incentive. What I want to do right now though, and please do let me know once you have jumped in, and we'll get a confirmation from you, and we'll manually get you access to this Outsource Mastery on the back end. Okay, so anyway though, let me quickly full recap of the system here. And again, don't wait until the end, get in now while you can. So the first component is the Kibo Academy. This is all the training that you're going to have access to, and we do this in different ways. So we've got we've got video training that will appear inside the members area. We've got live broadcasts, just like this one really, where we are training you on what you need to do, the next steps that you need to take in chronological order. We've got Q&A sessions. We've got mind maps, we've got PDFs, everything that you could possibly need. This is everything that we've learned about running this business. We package up here, and it's all completely new. It's not, recycled content or anything. This is all completely new for 2021. We've got the Launchpad. I showed you that earlier, and this is just amazing. I mean, we've invested a fortune into this. You heard how Sean was speaking about it, and Steve, just about how, much energy and effort we've put in addition to the money. And we're really happy with the outcome. We've got stores that are running on this now, and we've had beta testers who've been using it for some time. And it's just amazing. It's just what we wanted it to be, this power, but at your fingertips in a newbie-friendly format. So you're getting the Launchpad. SuperStores, so a done-for-you store, something we've never, ever done before. We're actually giving you a store with products loaded up onto it. Remember, you'll get those 10 unique products as well, exclusive to your store. So you can hit the ground running. We're trying to do as much of the heavy lifting as we possibly can here. And that's what component number 3 is all about. And again, you've got all the Ninja apps, all the bells and whistles built in, so you're not going to have to fork out more money. We've said this a few times now, but there is no extra cost when you come in other than a domain name, which you can pick up for $10. So you can really get started running this business without any investment. Kibo Profit Vault is next. So this is our huge database that it's got 2 million products. I can't even quite get my head around this. And when we get updates from the team, I'm like, but is that 2 million actual products? And yeah, it's 2 million actual products in this database from 220 different suppliers. And you can zap any of them into your store. These are all products that are in the United States, right? We're not, it's not like they're appearing in our database, but they're actually in China or somewhere else. They are in the United States. And we've got real-time data feeds showing inventory. And then, of course, we've got those 10 hand-picked for you products that are going to appear on your SuperStore when we hand that over to you. We've got accelerators. These are the additional training sources about specific strategies. So action plans, execution plans for a specific strategy or tactic that can, build profits. And this is all about making your life simpler and getting results faster. And then the Power Labs. So more tools here, domain tools, design software, listing builders, and much, much more. Again, things that are designed to streamline every step of the process. And then we've got the Kibo Alliance, which is our amazing support team and avenues of support. So one of those is the community, which I gave you a sneak peek in the success stories section of it a moment ago. We've got our amazing support desk and team. You can send us an email any time of day, 365 days a year, and there's going to be someone that's going to be there to reply to you as fast as we possibly can. And then you're getting the virtual event as well, 2 days. You're getting the achievement system and the 30-day challenge. I think this is going to be a game changer. This is what we're focused on to begin with here, is speed. We keep on harping on about this because it's speed. In the first iteration of Kibo Code a year ago, we focused on speed, simplicity, and scale. But the reality is that simplicity and scale, with everything we've built in here, they just take care of themselves. So the only thing that we have to focus on is speed. And hopefully you can see how all of these components come together to give you that speed, to give you that velocity, to be able to get going. You can see the link on the screen there. Go ahead, and you should also see it below this broadcast. If you're watching on YouTube, by the way, you can click the link below the button, and that will bring you over to our broadcast page where you can see a button that you can use to invest, and you can also see the chat functionality as well if you've got a question for us, so you can use that. Again, I hope that everyone who's listening to this, I hope you can see that there is zero financial risk here. I mean, we've got to be able to agree on that. There's no financial risk at all. Steve, do you want to whip through this break the chains part now, and then I'll come on and tie up a few loose ends and wrap things up here?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me get my screen here. All
and we do have more cash to give away as well, guys. So make sure you stick around for that. That'll be happening probably in about 20 minutes time.
All right, awesome. Okay, let's talk about, Aiden had a chance to kind of go through some of his, mindset stuff, and we think it's really, really important. So I'm just going to touch on a few things and some of the areas that it's interesting. We both sort of went through this exercise, and it's perhaps unsurprising that we kind of came up with some very similar things. So I'll kind of gloss over those and kind of focus on the ones that maybe were a little different than what Aiden came up with. But like Aiden, I look, I don't have all the answers, but I have been around a long time. I've been, depending on when you count my first job, right? It's been almost 40 years of, working, whether that's corporate or being an entrepreneur or whatever. And it's pretty much like a half and half almost, And so, and I've been involved with Aiden with 5 or 6 different multi-million-dollar businesses and helped thousands of students get online. And I've either been exactly where you are now, for sure, like multiple times, or I've seen tons of others that are in exactly that, that same position. And I've seen them succeed, and so, and I think that there's some commonalities, and again, like Aiden said, that between the people who ultimately succeed and some that don't. And, one of the things that I think is really, really important is this whole idea of, you can call it a million different things. And trust me, I'm not talking about like, some sort of like the secret kind of thing where you can just think it and it will happen. It's not really what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is not being on autopilot, is thinking that things are possible and thinking outside the box and getting to those uncomfortable places to make those, big changes in your life. It requires you to be really thoughtful about the path that you're on. And surprisingly, everybody probably says, oh, I know exactly the path I'm on. And, I think most people are, I would say you're wrong. Most people are just on autopilot. And admittedly, I was, even for the first, maybe 15 years of my corporate career. You kind of just get into this box, and people, and you put yourself in the box, or your parents put you in the box, or your friends, family, whatever it is, or society in general, that, okay, I'm going to go to school. I'm going to have a 9-to-5 job. I'm going to have a wife and 2.5 children and a pick a whatever it is, whatever that kind of thing. And you sort of get on that track. And then you're like, oh, I'm working. And the weekend, yay. I got a 2-week vacation or a 1-week vacation if you're American, if you're lucky, and so people just get caught on that, and then they don't have the introspection to sort of take a step back and go, well, hold on, wait a minute. Is this really the treadmill that I want to be on? And in order to think that way, you have to think about this other stuff that's possible. So if it never even occurs to you, that you could be an entrepreneur, that you could make life-changing income, that you could have financial freedom, and you could have geographic freedom and time freedom, you'll never make it happen. And I remember having lots of conversations with my dad, who's a very conservative guy. He's an engineer by education. And he was with the same company for like 37 years. And when I first told him what I was doing, and then, kind of got, of course he was supportive, but he was like, man, the difference between me and you, and it's nice to have these kind of conversations with my dad, is that I never even would have thought of any of this stuff. Like, it's just not like, it's not within the realm of my reality. And my dad is a smart dude. You know, he's a mechanical engineer, you know, and he was being trained back when they didn't have calculators. You know, he carried around a stupid slide rule. You know, he's a smart man, you know, and, but it's not about being smart. You know, it's about thinking that these things are possible and knowing that they're there and knowing that and feeling that, well, for crying out loud, why can't I get involved in something like that? You know? And you need to think differently. You know, you need to just, you know, I mean, the famous, these are all famous quotes and cliches, but because they're true, you know? And so you've got to do something different if you want something different. You got to seek radical change. You got to, you know, Aiden talked about this, so, you know, I won't belabor this, but boy, it's true, man. Getting out of your comfort zone, that's where it all happens. If you're going to just stay in your bubble on your treadmill, it ain't going to work. Failure. I'm telling you, you know, I mean, again, cliche, embrace failure. Okay, yeah, I get it. It just falls on deaf ears. But I'm telling you, it's part of the process. And so if you're not failing, then you're not going to win. You're not going to be successful. So you have to do it, you know? And one of the things we used to say in corporate all the time is, you know, what's the one thing that all really successful, like CEOs and high level executives have in common? What's the one thing? They've all been fired before. They've all failed. Why is that? Well, because they tend to take responsibility. They take risks. They think outside the box, and it doesn't always work. Okay. So if you failed, good for you, because that's part of the damn thing. You know, it's part of what you got to do. But for God's sakes, don't let it stop you, you know, from being successful. I've got another slide here that shows a lot. Oh, this one. Look at all this. I mean, this is great. You know, Spielberg was rejected by USC 3 times. Tim Ferriss, 26 times his book was rejected. You know, this is a good one. 104 times the average couple has to have sex before conceiving, unless you're a, you know, 15-year-old girl or something, which happens automatically the first time. You know, 300 times the founder of Pandora approached investors before he got funding. You know, I mean, it just goes on and on and on. Colonel Sanders, poor Colonel Sanders, 1,009 times. I might have gotten close to giving up. You know, 1,009 times old Colonel was turned down when he tried to sell his fried chicken recipe. The Dyson vacuum guy over 5,000 times. Again, you know, maybe around 2000, I might have started to get a little. You don't have to fail thousands of times. Absolutely not. I think understanding your why is really, really important. And this, you know, I love this. I'm super passionate about this. And it also speaks to that whole autopilot thing. You know, I think people are, you know, they have a corporate gig. Well, why do you have that? Well, I got out of school and I got it. Yeah, but why? I mean, why do you really want to do that? Why? I don't really want to do that. Well, it's okay. So, you know, it's really important to understand what the hell you're doing and why you're doing it. And so many people are just not introspective. They just, I don't know. I don't get it. It's hard for me to understand that. But it describes almost everyone. You really need to go deep, because if you understand why you're doing stuff and what is driving your path on that treadmill, you can much better adjust it if necessary. And most people need an adjustment. Okay. So why do you want a business? Well, I want financial freedom. Well, why do you want that? Well, I want to, you know, be able to give my kids the things I never had. Well, why? Well, I want them to have opportunities. Well, why? You know, that kind of, so just really ask, you know, go in 7 layers deep or whatever number of layers it takes. You know, it's really, really important. This is really important. You know, I think a lot of people have this idea that they have to have everything all figured out. And here's what I'm going to suggest to you, that you treat it like soccer. So when I say soccer, I mean like football, or, you know, for everybody else in the world except for the United States. So, but, and everybody who knows anything about soccer is going to be upset when I explain this, but sorry, because I'm an American. So for me, soccer doesn't have a lot of strategy. It's not a bad thing. But like football, American football, for example, the plays are very well laid out. Like everybody, you go here, you go there, you block this person, you're going to catch the ball, you're going to do it. Now, sometimes it goes to shit and improv, but there's a real specific plan all the time. For soccer, most of the time, it seems like anyway, and the way we used to play it is, look, I don't know exactly who's going to score. All right. I don't know how they're going to score, but if we can just get the ball down to the other end of the field away from us, and we just get it in the middle, just good things happen, you know, because that's the only place you score from. You don't score from all the way down this end of the field for the most part, and you probably don't score from all the way out on the wings, right? It's really when the ball gets in the middle that good things happen. But we don't know who's going to get the ball. You know, we don't know who's going to head it in. We don't know what's going to happen. But we do know if I put the ball in the middle like 100 times, I'm going to score some stuff. It's going to happen. So we treat business, or it's always been one of my business philosophies, is to put the ball in the middle. I don't always have to know how everything is going to pan out. I don't have to know every single detail. I don't have to know what it's going to look like 10 years from now, or even maybe 1 year from now. But if it feels like the ball is going in the middle, I'm going to do it. I'll give you 2 examples. The first is our China office. When we first were faced with opening our China office, it was a daunting task. It's very difficult to open an office in China. We actually had to have one of our folks go live there, who still lives there. And it's a big freaking deal. You know, it's not easy. And so we were like, well, how are we going to use it? What are we going to do? And we're like, well, I don't know exactly. But I remember having this conversation and we were like, you know, it feels a lot like we're putting the ball in the middle by doing this. And remember, this was years ago, maybe 8 years ago or something. And we did it. And we've had it ever since. And boy, has that paid off in spades. I mean, over and over and over again. It's been like, oh, well, we could use the office in China. Oh, you know what? Let's use the office in China for that. Oh, hey, by the way, we're scoring because we put the ball in the middle. Okay. Another quick example of that is starting our mastermind group. And where we continue to find, you know, people that we want to work with, partners, other companies that we incubate, that we then merge with, you know, all sorts of stuff like that. It's crazy. Okay. Yeah, this is really key. I mean, I think Aiden talked a little bit about this, but you know, if you don't have a clear vision of what the hell you're doing, if you don't know you're here, you want to get here, you know, you're not going to get there. And I would encourage you to say this, it's not real unless you write it down. Okay. It really isn't. And it can be on a Post-it note, or it can be in a formal planning document that you share with 3 other partners. I don't care. But until you write it down and start tracking it, it ain't going to happen. Aiden talked about this, about the 5 people that you spend your time with. So yeah, it's key. I mean, building an inner circle is incredibly important. You've got to have people around you that can help. Know tomorrow. This is absolutely key. I mean, you know, I don't care where you're at right now. It's now the time. Now is the time. Now is the time. Don't delay. I've never seen anybody be successful who delays. Never. Absolutely. And you know, look, we're, you know, 2020 is gone. Almost 10% of 2021 is gone. It's important to know your strengths and weaknesses. I feel this way all the time. The older I get, the less I'm good at, not because I'm getting worse at things, but because I understand much more clearly what I'm good at and what I'm not good at. And you're not going to turn your strengths into or your weakness into a strength. Oh, you're just not going to do it. Plenty of people are like, oh, you know, work on that weakness until it becomes a strength. Screw that. It's not going to happen. So have a really good understanding of what you're good at, and then use that, like leverage it, double down on it, and understand what you're not good at, and make sure that you don't fall into a trap of, you know, oh, well, I'll bet the business on this thing that I'm not good at. Yeah, don't do that. Get help, you know, do something different there. This, I talk about this all the time. Dance with the one that brought you. It's an old Southern saying, I think. And whenever, I'll give you an example that best describes it. Okay. The kids were kind of getting out of high school and stuff, and we were ready to downsize. We had our dream home for like 12 years where we raised the kids, and it was enormous home, you know, elevator, home theater, gym. I mean, it was our dream home. So as you can imagine, we had a lot of money invested in that home. And it was really, really important that we sold it properly, got the best value for it, and all that sort of thing. So we were faced with 2 choices. We had a real estate agent who had a stellar reputation, who was sort of she was the go-to. She was the star of our, you know, subdivision. And she was the one who, you know, well, of course you're going to go with this person. And then we had our friend, who was a dear friend, a smart person, obviously, And she was just starting out as a real estate agent. She didn't have a lot of street cred. She didn't have a lot of, reputation there or anything, but she was very well known to us. We struggled with this a lot. Finally, I just said, you know what? I'm going to use one of my sayings that I go with all the time that I run my businesses by. I'm going to dance with the one that I brought to the dance. I'm not going to go around and look for greener pastures. I'm not going to look at strangers. I'm going to dance with the one I know. Okay. And it was the best decision we ever made. We ended up doing several real estate transactions with her, and she was a phenomenal agent, even to the point where, because I had kind of reached the point where I was saying, real estate agents, they don't add much value because, they're just putting things on the MLS, but boy, did she. I mean, it was phenomenal. So my hope is that in translating this to you guys is that we're the ones that you brought to the dance, Aiden and I. And, I think my suggestion to you is live your life by these, your business life anyway, well, your whole life by these things, and don't go looking for another shiny new object. Dance with the one that brought you to the dance, and just keep it simple, man. I mean, that's what we did. That's what we try and do all the time. Each year, we're trying to make things simpler and just easier to bite off. Because if you can get something simple, you can have fast success, right? And if you just think about these things, these are the things that kind of kills starting up companies. And so you should try and avoid them at first. You're never going to avoid, look, you got to get capital for long-term business. You got to deal with Facebook at some point. You got technical, legal stuff. It's all going to happen. It's all going to happen. Okay. But if you can get rid of this stuff in the shorter term, and even more importantly, it's not even about getting rid of it. It's making sure that it's not on the critical path, which, in project management, we call this critical pathing, or these are the absolute things that must be done in order to achieve a desired result. So these things can't be on the critical path for getting early success. That's really the key. They'll come later, and that's okay, because you've already had success. You've already got a stable, good business. So capital, marketing skills, having to be a copywriter, understanding complex funnels, Facebook dealing with their paid advertising, technical shit, legal admin, all of these are the killers. So get them out of, like we've done with Kibo Code Quantum, get them out of the critical path. And that's what the whole plan is behind Kibo Code Quantum. Get rid of all of those startup killers right there. Okay.
I'm going to take the screen back there now. I've got a few more things to recap. And we're going to take some Q&A in about 3 or 4 minutes time here, guys. So if you've got a question that you would like us to take live, let's say, then please use this opportunity in the next few moments to get that into us. And you can do that using the chat functionality that you'll see on our broadcast page here. So go ahead and do that. And just before I do that though, a couple of extra bonuses that you're also getting here today. And the big one that I mentioned, which was only for this, is our outsource mastery. So you're getting access to a $1,500 program for free when you jump in, take that leap of faith here today. But other bonuses you're also getting is Kibo Bootcamp. So this is training videos that I'm going to be doing and releasing each week, so you can follow along with me. And these are things that go beyond the operational of running Kibo Quantum business, and it's more about mindset. It's more about blasting through procrastination. It's more about maintaining accountability, making sure you do the little things that you have to do each day to get going. So this is again going to be valuable. I actually think this is worth the price of admission, at least on the split pay. So you'll get that as well. You'll also get Kibo Talk, this amazing community, real family feel in there. It's a great place to hang out and connect with others. And then Profit Genie as well. Okay, so this is something we haven't even had a chance to talk about yet, but this is a Google Chrome extension that will allow you to do more competitive analysis and see what's working and what's not from other people's products. So we're giving you everything, really everything. When we sat down to do this and plan all of this out, we said, what are all of the different bells and whistles? What are all the different components that people would need to make it just as easy as possible? And then we set about developing them. We knew that you would need a launchpad in an ideal world to avoid going down that Shopify rabbit hole. We knew you would need a done for you store in an ideal world, right? So we've done that for you. We knew you would need, products in the United States with real-time inventory feeds. So we developed that. And everything else that you're seeing here, it's all developed for a reason, and it's so that you can hit the ground running and see results. But it is time for you to decide. We will be finishing this broadcast pretty soon here, and you're not going to get another opportunity to train with us until 2022. You know, we do this small intake once a year, and then that's it. We shut down, close the doors, and we get down to business and actually training our members on how to succeed with this. We will hit capacity, we always do, or we're going to shut down because we need to start the training, whatever comes first. So guys, we are definitely going to be shutting down in the next couple of days for sure, if not sooner. Okay, so you know, I just urge you, if you like what you've seen here, jump in right now. You've got nothing to lose. You've got that 30-day, no questions asked, money back guarantee to fall back on. And again, please do let us know once you get into that, once you are in here today, so that we can help you would recognize that you've jumped in, and also upgrade you to the different bonuses that I've mentioned. And we do have another Fast 30 bonus, which we've actually gone past now, but we will extend that to people who are on this workshop as well. It's a profit calculator, a cool little tool that you can use to slice and dice numbers to figure out how much, you know, how many sales you need to be doing to hit your income goals, different parameters that you can throw in there. And then you'll also be invited to be part of our beta test group, which is a Kibo tester. So you'll be able to test out new functionality before other people do it. We are going to get some cash giveaways in just a second. Before we do that though, Steve, would you mind taking a few questions here just for a couple of minutes, and then we can do some of the cash, and maybe you could share your screen on this slide if you've got that one.
Let me get it up and running here.
Just and guys, if you do have a question, please use the chat functionality. We are seeing those come in, and we will, you know, prioritize getting to as many of your questions as we can here. Okay, and we will be wrapping this up just shortly. So Steve, if you want to take some questions there.
Absolutely. All right, boy, a lot of questions out there, that's for sure. Okay, can I switch from Shopify? Yes, absolutely. We've got this whole reason for the Launchpad's existence is really to eliminate the need for Shopify for the most part. So yep, definitely you can switch from Shopify, and you can stop paying for Shopify services, but also for all of those apps and the percentage of revenue that some of them require and all that sort of stuff. You can get rid of all that stuff. Let's see. What if you live in the UK and dealing with these new privacy laws that have come into effect and all that sort of stuff? Yeah, we're not actually marketing to the UK. The whole idea here is that we are building a network of US suppliers where the goods are actually in the United States right now. And so when then we're marketing, those goods to people in the United States. And the reason behind that is that we can, compete with Amazon and get really, really quick delivery. And the reason that we pick the US is just that it's easier to find that combination of, suppliers that are here in the US, that have warehouses in the US where the inventory is, and a big market to sell stuff to. So it's just kind of the path of least resistance. So we don't have to worry about anything to do with UK privacy laws right now. And certainly the beauty of being involved in, a piece of software that does so much for an e-commerce empire is that as things develop, like for example, California, unsurprisingly, passed their own version of, some privacy laws and stuff. And so we do want to comply with that. But, software will evolve to automatically comply with stuff like that happens. And without any extra effort on your part. So I had a question from somebody in the Netherlands, and it was really all around, are the postal costs to send the product from the US to the Netherlands too much? Well, I don't know, but it doesn't matter, because again, I think people get a little confused that we're not trying to market to the whole world, and we're not going to send goods internationally. It's very easy for you to be outside of the US and set this whole business up so that you are marketing to the US and have US suppliers. So it's all good. Do we pay income tax and sales tax? Well, you certainly pay income tax. but depending on where you are, that's for sure. And so this business model has no bearing on income tax, really. I mean, you make income, you'll pay income tax. But sales tax is an important thing to speak about. And it's more than we can go into here on this webinar, but suffice to say, when you first start out, you will not be required to collect sales tax. And it's because of the way that we have built this relationship between the suppliers and you and all that kind of stuff. And it's designed just to be easy so that we don't have to worry about that. So that's number one. Now, as you build out your e-commerce empire, clearly, there are reasons that you'll want to start to collect sales tax. And, we've got software support to be able to handle the collection and reporting of sales tax. So yes, it's an issue, but it's not something that you're going to need to worry about at first. It's not on our critical path to getting that early success, and it will be taken care of. So it's not something you have to worry about. Will this work on a Mac? And of course, I've had people ask, will it work on a PC? Yes, the answer is yes. This is platform independent, so it'll work on anything because it's delivered. The software is all delivered web-based, but and then like supplementary material like PDFs and videos and stuff. Obviously, that's platform independent as well. All right, let's see. What is the typical profit margin? Very different from product to product, but if you're looking for an average, which I get, you're talking somewhere around 30 to 45%. It'd be the right average for the profit margin. And keep in mind, by the way, it's important to note that you can always set your own pricing. So you can control to a certain extent, what your profit margins are. Okay. Lots of people asking about returns. Well, how do you handle returns? First of all, understand that it's a very, very small percentage that happens, but does happen. It's very easy. You handle this just like reverse drop shipping, really. So what you're doing is your customer will send the product back to the supplier. The supplier will credit you, and only when you're credited do you then credit your customer. So it's pretty straightforward, and you can handle it all within the interface on the Launchpad. What if I can't attend the days that the training is happening? We get this question a lot. So obviously we're recording all the training. We try and get that up in the members area just as fast as possible. Usually it's right away. And so you can always review it there at your leisure. And we are mixing up the days and times that we have training so that more and more people can, attend live. Okay. How much time is required in order to make a go of this? Well, different for everybody. Everybody's got their own strengths and weaknesses in the way they work, but we estimate somewhere around 5 to 10 hours per week is probably what the average person will need.
Hey Steve, maybe we could do the cash giveaway there. We've got another 2 times $250 in cash to give away. And I know people are waiting for that. And by the way, just before we do this, and maybe you could think of a question there, Steve, before we do this.
Oh crap.
Throwing you in the deep end. What was I going to say? So we will have an opportunity to take more questions. If we haven't got to your question, I know Steve's knocked a few out there. We are taking them, through the chat system as well, and we may be able to do more, verbally like this towards the end of the call. So let us know if you've got something there. Okay, so did you think of a question there, Steve?
Yeah, it's a little bit of a hard one. You had to be listening to when I introed Sean. So Sean was doing, when we met Sean and started working with him, he was doing 2 business models, e-commerce, and what was the second one?
Okay, so we'll give a chance for the results to come in there now. And just so you know where we're headed with this, I think I've got another slide here that shows the standby. And I think we've got another slide that shows the plan of attack. We've still got a few more things to get through. I'm going to be recapping the system here in just a second. And I think we have winners coming in here now. Okay, so the first one was Nick. Nick is the first winner, and I'll confirm your email there in a second, Nick. And Looks like we're just filtering through to find the second winner. And Nick, so Nick, the first 5 letters in Nick's email, the first word in Nick's email is Alley, Alley, and that's a yahoo.com. Okay. And the second winner is Andrew, and that's
some interesting email addresses.
Yeah, it's hard to describe an email address. So this is a Gmail address for Andrew. It's got a word, and then it's got mura@gmail.com. So I'm not going to obviously reveal anyone's full email addresses here, but there you go. So congratulations, Nick and Andre. We will be giving you away some more cash there. Okay, so guys, what I want to do right now is recap most of what we've spoken about with Quantum, and then we will wrap things up here. So again, what you need to do if you want to get started is take action. That's really what it comes down to here. Everything we're doing is super simple. And Steve, I might call on you in about 3 minutes time to do a couple more questions here, because I can see we've got a bit of a backlog of those. So guys, super simple. Okay, this is designed to be simple. I always encourage people to think bigger and think what do you really want in your life. Could an extra $100 profit per day, $1,000 profit per day, I don't know, I mean, could that kind of a thing change your life? Would that kind of an income open up new possibilities? Because that's really what we're talking about here, is a business that can give you that. And I always encourage people to think bigger, because if you want to build a life of your dreams, you have to take action. But first you have to know what that looks like in the first place. For me, it was that laptop lifestyle. It was that freedom, and financial freedom and geographic freedom. And if you want different results this year, then do some things differently. Don't stand still. Keep moving forward. You've got to keep advancing. And it's just small steps forward, but don't stand still. Keep pushing forward. Try something new. And this is something brand new that you can get into without any risk, and you're going to know within just a couple of weeks if it's working for you. So it's a no-lose opportunity, and from my standpoint anyway. And you've seen some of the amazing success stories, and if you follow the system, if you take action, ask for help when you need it, then we can absolutely help you. We've got so many success stories. And look, it goes without saying that the people that are earning $100,000 in a month, we've shared a few of them. That's not typical. We can't promise that anyone's going to get any special results at all, because we don't know your background, your lifestyle, or anything like that. But in saying that, we have seen a higher success rate with Kibo Quantum than anything that we had ever seen in any of our trainings before. Like Adam, $23,729 in a single month. Joshua says, my success involves me taking steps that are way out of my comfort zone. I've now done $13,043 in sales, 8 to 12 orders per day for Katie. Dan up in Canada, 62 days in a row with sales every single day. Okay. And then, check this one out. This is Tracy. She had never made any money online at all before she came to our program, and got to over $3,700 in her first 7 or 8 weeks or something. $53,344 in sales, 1,003 orders for Thomas. This works, guys. And something else we haven't spoken about is the whole cash out option, where if you build a business that's making you money, one of these websites, then you can sell it. These are assets that you're actually building. They've got real value. Now, you need to build them to get them make money before they're worth anything, really, but that's exactly what we're doing here. And then you put yourself in a position to kind of have this as another exit strategy. And look, here are some of those other amazing stories from our best students: 455 grand in 4 months, 146 grand in 90 days, 150 grand in 30 days. And it's your time now to make this your breakthrough. Steve, do you want to take a couple of questions there quickly?
Yeah, sure. Do you want me to share my screen or just keep it on yours?
We could leave this up. That's fine.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah. All right, let me go through some of the more that we've been collecting here. So let's see. Is this okay for beginners? Yes. It's hard for me to imagine anything that's better. When you get rid of risk, when you have, success really, really fast, and when you don't put a lot, you need, to put extra money in for traffic and other things like that. That's what makes this the absolute best for beginners. So, and the other thing is, I think, not requiring any kind of experience or expertise or anything like that. So people could come into this cold and make this work. Don't people end up choosing the same product to sell? No, for a couple of reasons. One is, the 10 done for you products are exclusive to each Launchpad user. So that's not an issue. And then after that, you're talking about millions of different products that you have the potential to sell. So, I guess, could it happen? Yeah. But you can win the lottery too, I guess, but it's unlikely, I guess, is maybe a better way to say it. Here's my favorite question, and I often think this is the wrong attitude, but this time I'm happy to answer. Will I make sales within the 30-day refund period? Yes, you will. Now, obviously, I'm assuming that you're going to take action and that you're not going to join and then not do anything, because then if you do that, then no, you won't. But if you come along with us on this journey and you do what we tell you to do, you are going to be making sales in days. Okay. It's all laid out for you right now in the members area. It tells exactly what that journey is going to be like. But it's just a matter of a few days and you're going to get those 10 done for your products. And yeah, you will make sales, definitely. And I've got much loftier goals than you just will make sales. All right. And I talk about that. It's all in the members area already. Does the 30-day challenge begin at the end of the 8-week core training? No. It begins like now. we got way too much speed that we're going to do that. We're not going to wait for 8 weeks of training. We only need a little bit to get you guys to start making those sales and to get into that 30-day challenge. So, the ride is going to be great.
Steve,
yeah,
we've got people who just want me to keep going through and recap. A few people have mentioned that they're on the fence. They're thinking about it. They need to go through everything one last time. So I figured I could do that now, and then if there are more questions that we need to answer live, we could do that later. But guys, if you're just joining us, or if you've joined us recently, you can always go ahead and make your investment anytime you want to using the link that you'll see below this broadcast. If you're coming in through YouTube, where we're also being broadcast, then head over. You'll see a link in the description that will take you over to our broadcast page, where we've got the chat box functionality where you can submit these questions, and they're the ones that Steve has been working through. So thank you to everyone who's gone ahead and done that. We are going to wrap up now in probably maybe 10 minutes time, but before we do that, I want to recap on everything here for you one last time. Okay, so we'll work that through right now. And look, we really believe that we can help you make 2021 your breakthrough year, regardless of anything you may have done in the past. Okay, but it starts with you taking action. And the very first thing you need to do is to make a fully informed decision. And we could be talking, we've been talking here for almost 3 hours, right? And we're not even scratching the surface really of what you're getting here. We could be talking here for 12 hours straight, and we wouldn't be able to go into every nook and cranny of the members area and every little detail that you're getting. But the way that you can make a fully informed decision is by actually jumping in. And you can do that by clicking the link that you can see just below this video, or you can copy out the link that you can see in the presentation here and copy that into your browser, and you'll be good to go. And then once you're in the inside, you've got a full 30 days to test this out, take it for a test drive. If you change your mind 29 minutes from now, 29 days from now, that's absolutely fine. We respect that. We just want you to be able to get in with that peace of mind so that you can see for yourself if everything that we've said here is just as good as what we've said it is. And look, I get that it's a big investment. I completely get that. I understand, one payment of $3,497 or 4 payments of $997. This is not chump change, but guess what? Most things that are incredibly valuable in life, they do cost a little bit more, or they require more time investment. I can tell you that this is unlike any other training program that you may have invested in before, because it's not just training. It's actually training, it's tools, it's support, it's stuff that is brand new, and it's completely unlike anything else that's out there before. I would never advise you to do something that's going to put you in an awkward financial situation. I'm not like a financial advisor that's qualified to do that anyway, but What I will tell you is that in my own personal experience, the big wins I've had in life, and this is a common theme with the most successful people I know, with the most successful Kibo members, have been when I've gone outside my comfort zone. And sometimes that's been with an investment, making an investment, buying something. Sometimes that's been when I've done something that I wasn't confident that I'd be able to do, and I try it and I could do it anyway. So, you know, as you're considering this, just keep that in perspective. I feel like for someone who wants to get in, you're going to find a way to get into this. So yeah, it's a big investment, but we can give you so much value as a result of you jumping in here. And everyone's got time. That's the reality. We've all got the same number of hours in a day. What matters is how we prioritize. So are you willing to spend 5 hours a week in, you know, effort to build up a business that could be giving you hundreds of dollars per day in profit, you know, day after day after day? That kind of a profit, you know, hopefully you're willing to do that, because that's what we're talking about. It's a lifestyle business, requires a bit of time, effort on your part. It doesn't require any, you know, financial effort once you're on the inside. You know, you have to pay to access this. That's logical. But once you're on the inside, you've got free traffic that you can use. So you don't need a budget for anything else once you're inside. Actually, you need $10 for a domain name. Okay, so you can absolutely get going with this. And then, like I say, everyone's got time. It's a question of prioritizing, setting aside 5 hours per week. That's kind of like a minimum, but you can go at your own rate as well. You know, your own speed. If you're busy for the next couple of weeks, then start in a couple of weeks' time. That's absolutely fine. Now, we might get time for more questions. I just want to keep pushing through to recap first though. So the steps of the system are pretty simple. You start with installing your store, and we've got you covered there because we're actually doing the first store for you. You then need to identify winners. Well, we are giving you 10 products loaded onto your store that you can use from the get-go. And these are products that are exclusive to your store. They're not going to be on anyone else's store, and they are perfect for the traffic source that we're recommending you use, which is the free marketplace traffic. And that's what we're talking about in step 3, is actually starting to use this traffic, get sales coming in, and then accelerate in step number 4. Now, this is a simple system. We've had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of success stories. And I think one of the reasons why we've had so many is because it's simple, you know, and you don't need to have any special skills or anything like that. As long as you can follow a simple recipe and ask us for help when you need it, then we can actually help you here. You know, it's simple, it's fast, it's scalable. If you put in the effort, if you follow our lead carefully, follow our instructions, then this could be possible for you. You're seeing that, you know, we could show you screenshots where we've done, you know, $1 million in a day even, or, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars per day, but that's not realistic. Getting to $1,000 profit per week is very, very realistic though. And it's something that you can do as long as you follow through, and then scale to $5,000 per week, $10,000 profit per week, and upwards from there. You know, this is something that's pretty amazing, and you can get started with it very quickly. Now, the battle cry is speed, speed, speed. Okay, the simplicity, the scale, they take care of themselves. We've got the 30-day challenge for you, where you're going to be started, able to get products up and running inside of just 30 days. And we're looking at 100 sales in your first 30 days. That's what we're shooting for here. And we've got a plan in place where you're going to be able to follow steps. You know, step 1 do this, step 2 do that, step 3 do that, step 4 do that. Little milestones that you'll reach along the way that are going to guide you to this. Okay, and it's so important that you get your first win. So that's why we're putting so much focus on this 30-day challenge. Okay, and again, the aim is simple: to get you to 100 sales in your first 30 days. So I'm going to run through the 7 components one final time here. Component number 1 is the academy. This is all the training, everything that we know about this business model, how you can get up and running and be using it as fast as possible. So everything that we've learned in over a decade of building out these, building an e-commerce business is put into this. You're getting access to the members area, live training every week, videos walking you through step by step by step. We've got you covered. And then we've got the launchpad component number 2. This is how you're going to be able to get your store and run your store. Basically, it's not just a platform, it's more than a platform, because it ties in so many of the other moving parts, like the automation of orders, like the products that you're pulling in, like the inventory source, and just so much more. This gives you enormous power at your fingertips. And then component number 3 is the SuperStore. We wanted to do something special here. We wanted to be able to give everyone what they need to get going. Actually give everyone, what they need to get going. And that meant that we had to find a way to give them a store, to give you a store, and not just any store. A store out of the box with any other platform is going to be pretty basic, and it's going to be like a slow moving vehicle, right? But what we're giving you here is an absolute, racing car. We're giving you a vehicle that you can use to get going with your business, and it's got all of the bells and whistles built into it. Okay. And look, to get all of those bells and whistles with Shopify, you'd be paying over $1,000 a month, as we've spoken about. Then you're getting the amazing Profit Vault as well. Okay. So look, we really believe that this alone is worth the price of admission. There's nothing out there quite like this. Okay. There's nothing that exists like this. We built this from the ground up. We built it to work seamlessly with the Launchpad. And it's also enabled us to give you 10 handpicked exclusive products, the cream of the crop, to get you going. So when the rubber hits the road, you're ready to roll, So the Profit Vault is enormously valuable. And then we've got the accelerators. These are specific, actionable plans to leverage different strategies. And on top of that, we've got other shortcuts through the Power Labs. These are more design software, domain tools, listing tools, and just so much more. Again, the focus here is on streamlining everything that you do to make sure that you can get results as fast as possible. And we've got the support to back this up every step of the way. Okay, every step of the way. We're going to be there in your corner, working for you, making sure you've got absolutely everything that you need. And you're also getting access to our event as well. If we were running one of these as a standalone product, we would absolutely charge a couple of $1,000s for it. There is no question about that. And the value that you're getting from this is that you can enjoy this from the comfort of your own home, right? Enjoy this from the comfort of your own home without any need to go anywhere. And you can get all of this amazing information that you can use to grow your business further. You're getting the achievement system and the 3 action taker bonuses as well. So we've got the Kibo Bootcamp. This is more training from me. You're getting Kibo Talk Community. You're getting Profit Genie. So 3 added pieces of software there. Everything that you could possibly need. So don't let this opportunity pass you by. You will not have another opportunity to access our training until next year, 2022. This is something we only do once a year, and once we close the doors, that's it. They're closed. We are going to hit capacity with this. Some people will miss out on this when we hit capacity. It happens every single year, and we don't want you to be that person. So if you haven't done so already, let us know in the question box if you're jumping in. And just, I can have a look here just over my shoulder, and I can see that we have had a bunch of people who have recently jumped in. So congratulations to Scott, Josh, Damon, Nancy, Andrew, Loai, Dan, Troy. We've had John, Kimberly, Fahan, Renee. Whoa, we got another Aiden in there. There you go. Terrence, Sabrina, Robert, Alan, Jay, Jonathan, Angela, Attila, Roberto. Guys, thank you so much for putting your trust in us. This is not something we take lightly, and we're going to be working as hard as we can to make sure that we deliver on all of our promises. And guess what? You get to test drive this for 30 days. If you change your mind, that's absolutely fine. You're getting the Fast 30 bonus that we mentioned. Again, no special experiences needed. All of the obstacles have been eliminated. We are ending this broadcast in just a few minutes here. Okay, so if you haven't jumped in yet and you want to do it, I would like for you to do that before we get to the end of the workshop, just to make sure that you can actually get in, that you don't hit any snags during checkout or anything like that. Okay, and if you do, then our chat support is going to be there to help you. Okay, you can keep listening to this in the background, but click that button you can see below the broadcast if you'd like to jump in. So yeah, like I was saying, all the obstacles have been eliminated. This is the path of least resistance, and it's perfect for anyone who wants to hit the reset button. Anyone who is just starting from scratch, or maybe you've already got something going on in your life that you're pretty happy with. This is something that you can add on, to supplement that, and it can be very, complementary, and it's not going to take up much of your time. Now, you might need to be resourceful to get in. Maybe this means getting a business partner, but one thing I know for sure is that it's more important to be resourceful than to have resources. Money can absolutely help you get ahead in life, but it's not an absolute necessity. When I started building my online business, 15 years ago, I was up my eyeballs in debt, and it was actually my online business that helped me get out of that. Now, I remember all those years ago that I used my necessity, if you like, my situation as a way to push me forward, to get me going every morning. And if you need to be resourceful, if it's tough for you to get in, then maybe you can use that as your own little psychological secret weapon and get you taking action every single day. Whatever happens though, don't fall into the when-then trap. Don't wait until everything in your life is perfect to take action on something. You know, it's important that you take action regardless of whether or not you feel like it's the perfect time. I mean, sometimes people come up to me and they say, oh, you know, Aiden, when I've got more time, I'm going to start my business, things like that. And it's just, life doesn't work that way. If you want to get something new in your life, you need to sort of force that to happen. And that happens by taking action. And the only action that you can take here today, if you want to move forward with this opportunity, is to get in right now. You know, money is only as good as what it can be used to, you know, exchanged for to get other things. So I'll give you an example. You know, we exchange money every day in our lives to buy food, pay for electricity. That's an exchange of money to get something else. Education as well. And what we're giving you here with Kibo Quantum is education. We're giving you tools, and those education and tools and support, I might add, are designed to help you make more money. So, you know, I don't really know what else anyone could feel more confident and comfortable about making an investment in than something like this that's got absolutely no risk. You got no risk at all, and is designed to be, it's a business, it's designed to help you make more money and to give you these other freedoms like time. You know, so, and if we've missed something here, if you've got a concern, now is the time to use that chat functionality so that we can answer any questions that you might have. It would be a real shame if we get to the end of this and you're unable to make a decision because there's some piece of information that we haven't shared with you. So take advantage of that. Could you figure it out all on your own? Maybe, probably. There's a lot of information out there these days. It's not, you know, the thing about information, it's not that there's not information out there. There's plenty of information. It's that it's hard to find the right information. It's a bit like an analogy that I use sometimes is, imagine that you needed to make a chocolate cake and you had all the ingredients given to you, you had the tools given to you, but you didn't have any idea about cooking. You know, you didn't know a single thing about cooking or baking. So you just, you know, mix everything up and throw it in the oven. Something is going to come out. Is it going to be the most delicious chocolate cake you've ever tasted? Probably not. What we're giving you here is the ingredients, we're giving you the recipe, we're giving you the tools, and we're giving you the support. So first time that you make that chocolate cake, it's going to come out delicious. That's our objective here. The first time that you go through this business, you're not going to make the mistakes that we've already made. You're not going to make the mistakes that, you know, other students who've been through our training have made, because we've eliminated them, or we're going to be telling you to avoid those pitfalls. So trial and error, you know, it's the worst way to learn. It's the most inefficient way and frustrating way to learn. We're giving you something here which can allow you to bypass all of that headache and heartache. And, you know, when it comes to pricing, we could have packaged up a bunch of things that we had from our Kibo training a year ago. Maybe we could have made, you know, a bunch of PDFs available, sold for a couple of $100, but we haven't approached this in thinking about the price. The way that we've approached this is we said, you know, what would our students in 2021 need to be able to succeed with this? And then we've gone about engineering, you know, a one-of-a-kind solution for that. So you're going to need a shopping platform. You're going to need products. Ideally, a store that's done for you. You know, ideally, lots of different support elements, and, you know, so on and so forth. Traffic that doesn't cost you any money. So we've gone out there and designed all of this and built it and spent hundreds of thousands of dollars, I might add, in putting it together. And only then, after that was all done, did we say, okay, well, you know, what is a fair price to put this out to the market? And, you know, this is an amazing opportunity. And I think it's beyond good value, actually, because you can get into this today for as little as $997. One-time payment of $3,497. You know, you can absolutely get in and get started with a business that could potentially change your life. So I've got no problems at all with the price. I know it is, you know, a little bit more expensive than some things in life, but the value that we can give is huge here. But you need to take that leap of faith first if you want to be able to recognize any of that value. And, you know, the other option is to do nothing. And some people like to just coast through life. I would urge you to keep improving, keep getting better. Don't coast through life, you know, do something new. Because if you don't do anything, then the situation stays the same. It doesn't even stay the same, it gets worse because you miss opportunities. You don't need to be anything special for this. You know, we've helped so many people come in and see results. The proof is in the pudding at this point. And remember, all of these results we've shared, these people didn't have the shortcuts that you're getting. You're getting everything they got plus additional shortcuts and breakthroughs that we've developed. And I feel like you deserve this. You know, what happens if you don't do it? You know, we've just said, you know, if nothing changes, nothing changes. January's in the books. You know, February is going to be done before we know it. You know, March is going to be done before we know it. This is an opportunity where in 30 days time, you know, you could have had 100 sales come in, but only if you take action starting here today. And what's the worst thing that could happen? You know, go outside your comfort zone. This is where growth happens. This is where the magic happens. And especially, you know, you've got a safety net here. You've got a parachute. There's nothing, I can't think of anything horrible that could possibly happen when you jump in here, because you've got the 30-day money back guarantee, the double your money back guarantee. We're covering you every step of the way. And it's okay to be afraid. Maybe you don't know who we are. Maybe you've never heard of us or from us before, and that's fine, because again, you're completely backed up here every step of the way. You've got nothing to lose and everything to gain. Now, just to reiterate, we are shutting down access very soon. People will miss out. They always do. So now is the time for you to take that leap of faith and jump in. You can see that you've got two different payment options. You got a split pay. That's 4 payments of $997. And then you've got the one-time payment plan, one payment of $3,497. And the one-time payment has got that discount built into it, a discount of $491 for people that take the one-time option. If you can afford that, then I would recommend you to do that. It works out cheaper, and then you're done and dusted with the payments, and you can just focus on making the business work. If you need to get in with a split pay though, that's fine. You're not going to be penalized. You'll still get access to everything. So go ahead. You've got zero risk. You've got everything to gain here. We will do one more cash giveaway, and then we will shut this down. Just before we do the cash giveaway though, I want to give you this link that you can see on the screen there. That's where you can go to get a free gift that actually Steve has put something together for you. I'm not going to tell you exactly what that is, but I think it ties in quite nicely with what we've done here today and will serve you well as we push into 2021. So Steve, putting you on the spot again here, buddy. Have you got another question we could ask people? Not too difficult.
You're killing me. All right. Let's see. How about a trick question here? Okay. How many daughters does Aiden have?
That is a little bit of a tricky one.
There we go.
Bearing in mind that, you know, I've only got a couple of kids. You've only got a couple of...
It's either 0, 1, or 2.
That's right. That's right. So, alrighty, we're just waiting on... We do have a slight delay here. So, 2 winners of $250.
Oh, there we go. Got one.
First one is Beth. Congratulations, Beth. And the second one is on the way. I'll tell you though, I do have one daughter. She's 2. She's an absolute rascal. And oh my God, she's so different to her brother, who's just 4, and he's completely cruisy. My daughter, if there's something to break, she'll break it. If there's a loud noise to be made, she will make that loud noise at the most inappropriate time. A lot of fun. She's definitely in the terrible 2 phase though. So Beth was the first one. And Beth, just to confirm, your email had a bunch of letters, and then it was prof@yahoo.com. Yep. And Gabrielle was the second one. And Gabrielle's email address had a word, .gabrielle@gmail.com. So congratulations, guys. $250 in cash going to each of you, and our amazing support team behind the scenes will get that out to you guys. Look, we're leaving you with this slide with the free gift. Go and get that, check that out. And also below the broadcast, you can see a link where you can invest. I want to just finish off by saying thank you for spending so much of your time here with us today. Hopefully, even if you've decided not to jump in, you know, hopefully this has at least opened your eyes. And for those of you that do jump in, man, this is going to be one hell of a ride. We are pumped up and excited and just can't wait to get going. So thank you so much, guys. Anything else, Steve?
Nope, that's it. Thanks, Ben. Appreciate it. Thank you for everybody.
All right, guys. Thanks.